All right, here we go. Welcome to another week of Hand Raised Guys. Chase Parham, Neal McCready coming to you from the Clark Ford studio. Not this morning. That is a podcast opening, not a Hand Raised Guys opening. It is not this morning. It is 9:48 p.m. Auburn Tigers 20, Ole Miss 14. The Rebels again with a chance to get a signature win. Do not get it. What are you laughing at?
No, just a little inside joke.
All right, they do not get it. So anyway, we're going to talk a good bit about Ole Miss and Auburn. We're going to break it all down. There's an instant analysis up right now where we did about 8 minutes of just hardcore football talk to try to get some of that out of the way. So you can go watch that now. You can come back. You can wait, watch that later. However you want to do it. Have at it there with that. So we'll jump into a few things. We've got things poured. We'll get into your questions. I have a slight echo. Hold on, let me check. I don't know. Let me see if I have anything up that would be causing that right now. It's gone now. All right, good, because I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what would be causing the echo, but anyway, we've got drinks poured. We'll open the call lines here in a few minutes. We're gonna just talk for a few minutes first, see what's going on with you guys. What are y'all drinking? What you think about the game? Give me some thoughts there in the live chat stream. Sorry, we're a little delusional tonight, little crazy. Yeah, I'll give you the number when we get to the number. Not there yet. We'll get there. But so we're doing Memphis SMU. What's going on there? We have it on TV in front of us. Sorry.
Memphis is up fairly big. SMU trying to drive and get back into the game.
Neal is drinking some Buffalo Trace. It looks like from the bottle that I can see.
That is correct. This is
you're doing Buffalo Trace.
The last part of a bottle of Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, we're trying to kill bottles tonight.
I decided not to open a brand new one because I had a suspicion that this show would be a lot like some of the previous shows, and I should just stick with something that I've been drinking lately.
Okay. I'm going with Midwinter's Night Dram, a rye that I really like tonight. That's what we're doing. So sticking with that one.
You've been displeased with it over the course of the evening, though.
Well, I tell you, it's a little bit of an old bottle, and when I have not drunk it quick enough is what has happened. And it's got just a bit of that, like a penny or a nickel taste, like that oxidization or whatever it is. Just a touch. I mean, we're still good. It's still here. It's still very drinkable, but that is something we're dealing with a little bit right now. So anyway, what'd you guys think of the game? Give me some stuff. Give me some thoughts as we're going. I told Neal in instant analysis, get some reaction here from our live stream people. Is I thought the way it went with Ole Miss losing a game that could have won, with Auburn frankly playing pretty sloppily early, and then Ole Miss not able to take advantage of an opportunity there. I thought it was a tougher spot for the coaching staff than had they gotten blown out. I thought that maybe there was going to be less currency moving forward than before because of how it went. I really did. I think that the way it went was really the worst possible scenario from a coaching staff, curating, fan approval standpoint as this thing moves forward, because you get blown out and nobody really says anything. It's like, okay, you weren't good enough. Auburn was that much better, but it's another winnable game that was not won. And look, you got to give credit here. They play their hearts out for those son of a guns. Yeah, they do every single week.
Every week,
they keep it whatever. They do whatever. You have to give credit for that. They get them up and get them to play every week. But it's not a moral victory league at this point at all. I mean, I get Ole Miss is coming off probation, all that stuff. It's not a moral victory league whatsoever, and it's a deal where it's another negative in this pursuit of what's going to happen to this coaching staff as this thing moves forward.
Well, it's like I told you, they've lost 6 games now, and there's one that we don't talk about at all. We don't talk about Alabama. Nobody holds that against them. There's nothing no amount of coaching could have changed the Alabama game.
Mm-hmm.
No amount of game planning, strategy, play calling, anything. Nothing was changing the Alabama game. We can't say that about the other games. And the truth is Auburn better than Ole Miss? Yeah, Auburn's better than Ole Miss. But Auburn was kind of ripe for the taking tonight, and they teed it up. I mean, there was a point, we can talk about a lot of different plays. There was a point in the second half. I mean, the first half, 6 minutes to go or so before halftime, it's 3-0. You're right there.
Ole Miss survived the first quarter where they gave up 160 yards in a quarter, and it was 0-0. Andrews Carlson misses two field goals. Anything at all offensively there, and Ole Miss has got a little rhythm, a little momentum, and frankly, kind of what popped Auburn enough early to go, whoa, here we go. And instead, Ole Miss another week where there's no rhythm, there's no continuity, and again, kind of giving this away from what we said in instant analysis, but we'll do it again here as we're sort of opening up some of our themes that then you guys can take and run with or not. If Matt Corral is only going to have 6 pass attempts through 3 quarters, you might as well not play him. We said this in the thing. He's a rhythm quarterback. He's a guy that you're going to take the good with the bad. He's a large sample size quarterback, and this is not about Plumlee or Corral. Pick whichever one you want. That I don't care. But you're using Corral in the worst possible fashion when you use him like this. This is no way to get him into the game at all, to get him into anything as far as a rhythm. And it's just making the offense even more convoluted and weird than even it has to be given the limitations that it has right now.
So let's talk some stats real quick from this game. Again, Auburn wins 20-14. Bo Nix, surprisingly, the numbers are where they are. 30 for 44, 340 yards. That is the quietest 340 yards I've ever seen in my life. Rushing, DJ Williams had 24 carries for 93 yards. Cam Martin had 7 carries for 33 yards. Bo Nix, 8 for 20. The highest next one was Shivers, 5 for 14. That's about it. Schwartz had 9 catches for 89 yards. Williams had 6 for 46. Stove, 5 for 44. DJ Williams had 3 for 11. On the Ole Miss side, John Rice Plumlee, 11 for 21, 86 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. 11 for 21 for 86 yards. So his completions are going for less than 8 yards a carry.
Completions, not attempts.
His completions are going for less than 8 yards a completion. That's not efficient. That's not effective in the passing game.
And the attempts are at 4 yards.
Yeah, the attempts are a little over 4 yards per attempt. That's not effective.
And Corral was 3 for 6 for 13.
Corral 3 for 6 for 13 yards rushing. And here's where I get in. And I hate that I do this because I feel like I'm coming down on the kid, and I'm not. He plays his ass off. And he's a really good athlete. He plays super hard. He's a great kid. He
needs to be on the field. Needs to have the ball in his hands.
He's a great ambassador for the school, for the program, etc. Okay? 17 carries for 92 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
He's your leading rusher night in and night out, which means the other guys don't get carries. Ely had 14 carries for 44 yards. Snoop Connor, 6 for 20. Matt Corral, 3 carries for 20 yards. Scotty Phillips, I think he was injured early. 1 carry for 4 yards.
He was on that carry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then receiving, Ely had 4 catches for 16 yards. Connor had 2 catches for 33 yards. Sanders had a catch for 17 yards. Elijah Moore, 3 catches for 14 yards. He had that big punt return. Otherwise, he kind of had a bad night. He had his first off night, really, this season. Knight had 2 catches for 7 yards. Cooley had a catch for 6 yards, and Jaden Jackson had a catch for 6 yards. It's just, yet again, we're not, unless you want to count Ely's 4 catches for 16 yards, which is 4 yards a catch. Unless you want to call him emerging as the second receiver, we're now 3/4 of the way through the season, and there is no second receiver.
Well, and Elijah Moore had a couple, at least for him, balls that he should have caught tonight that would have changed some complexions. I mean, Elijah did not have his best game tonight. So you had really nothing from a wide receiver standpoint at all.
Right. Nothing.
I mean,
really,
Elijah had the big pump return, okay, but from the line of scrimmage, really not much tonight.
No. It's offensively, I've said this for a while. There's no rhythm. There's no flow. There's a lot of the mesh game. I don't know whether that's RPO or whether that's.
I'll ask the chat here.
It's not option. I don't.
Is there anything in Mike Norvell's background that would make you squirmish or skittish to hire him?
You're asking me?
I'm asking the chat.
Okay.
Is there anything? He always gets looked over. There's always a reason. It's always in the background check. Would it matter to any of you right now?
Oh, I see what you're asking. You're saying, is there anything at all?
Yeah, where you go, hey, no, I can't do that. What's the cutoff? Somebody says murder. Okay.
I don't think he murdered anybody. Feel safe in saying that's not the case.
For the most part, it's no ending someone's life or something that has to do with statutory purposes, essentially.
Yeah, and I don't want to get into the guessing thing. I've never heard anything involving
anything along those lines.
Anything with somebody underage. Anything involving anything with a kid. Nothing.
Yeah. He's not going to, because the record's not going to be good enough. Mike McIntyre should be in the Broyles of conversation at this point.
Oh, if they've now lost five winnable games, frankly. Had they won 2 or 3 of them, he'd be in the mix. Done an amazing job. He's put himself in position to, at the very least, coordinate wherever he wants to coordinate.
As you said in the other video, Wesley McGriff had to be looking across the sidelines going, wow, they line up correctly. They do a lot of things over there. Damnedest thing. A lot of the same kids.
Has to be. I mean, they gave up a bunch of yards, but they made stops. They didn't give up a lot of big chunk plays. They had the one blown assignment on the wheel route. But you're going to blow an assignment in a game. Auburn blew an assignment later on a similar kind of play.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, you're not going to pitch a perfect game night in and night out. But they don't give up the huge chunk plays. They do pretty well.
Next week, let's talk about it now before we get into calls in a minute. New Mexico State, Ole Miss will get its 4th win next week, but that's not going to be the number that anyone's worried about. The number is going to be inside Vaught-Hemingway Stadium, butts in seats.
My anticipation is a much lower number than yours. You and I talked about this. I'll go ahead and give your answer away. You at first said, well, less than 30, and I said, well, duh. And then I said, no, seriously. And you said, I don't know. I think you said 24 to 26, somewhere there. And I said, I think you're way over. I think it's 15 to 16. I think it's a very sparse crowd.
You think it could be as low as 15?
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's.
I mean, you understand what that looks like?
Yeah, it looks like 1/4 of the stadium is full.
Thanks. Yeah.
That's what it looks like. That's what I expect. It's a team that's
same time as Alabama and LSU.
It's going up against the highest,
the biggest game of the year.
The biggest game probably in 8 years.
Since 11.
Yeah.
Since we did this the last time.
Yeah. So, I don't even like to think about that, because the last time that there was one of these games, we were working.
That was the night that
I called you leaving Commonwealth Stadium, and I said, hey, I don't know what you have planned, but cancel it.
That was the night you wrote that was the Pete Boone firing night, wasn't it?
No, that was Vanderbilt.
Was it?
That was the night that I asked Houston, do you anticipate being back here next year? And he said, it's not up to me. And before I
remember we had something going on because we were watching that game, and essentially I was just pouring bourbon into a glass all night long.
Well, we did a podcast, and frankly, I was telling you that, hey, you have to be by a phone at all times tomorrow because this thing's going down. And remember, we broke it early that Monday morning that he was fired and that he was not he was going to finish the season.
Yeah.
But we anticipated that it would. We knew it was. We had calls that we knew it was going down, so we were putting up hot boards, and we were busy.
Anything else? Yeah, more on next week for we. Is that it?
No, I think that's it. I mean, that will be the. I don't think there's a number that matters. I mean, I don't. Again,
that's a good question there. Does it matter? Whether it's 8,000 or 48,000, does it matter?
I think if there were stability at the top of the athletic department, it would matter. But I don't know that person's in place. I mean, if it's Keith Carter who gets the job full time, it has to matter. It has to mean something to you.
John Kennedy makes a good point. Says, Chase, you think tonight hurts Luke's return bid because of blowing the late chance. The other flip side of that is it can be spun. Yeah, you're close. I mean, it strictly depends on what your mood is going in. I mean, in a lot of ways, Matt fed both sides tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We always talk about Mike.
Yeah.
You used to do that, or Andy used to do that a lot with their season results. Matt did that tonight. If you go, hey, I want you out no matter what. See, coaching is losing this game, coaching is losing that game, coaching is doing all this kind of stuff. You get that. No problems at all. And then you go, hey, look, it's close. It's close. It's close. You get that too because they were an 18-point underdog and they lost by 6.
They are close, but close doesn't count. Here's the thing, and we've said this before. One of two things is going to happen. Memphis just broke it open.
Ball game.
Yeah, ball game. Should be ball game, the way that's going. I mean, give them credit, man. Look at what Norvell's built.
Probably going to the Cotton Bowl.
I'll give the guy a ton of credit. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. One of two things is going to happen. There's either going to be change, which I think is unlikely at this point, honestly, or they go in the next season. These games next season won't count. Close won't mean anything next season. You will just be in the process.
Which is why when you're 2-5, it is what it is.
It is what it is. When you play Baylor, when you play Auburn next September in Oxford, it's kind of a must-win game.
Let me ask you this. What's more likely? We'll do this, then we'll open phone calls after this one. But I want to ask you this question first. Again, kind of setting some topics for tonight. Is it more likely that everybody's gone and Matt Luke's gone? Or is it more likely that just – I'm not saying – let's not say just. But is it more likely that Matt's still here and Rodriguez is gone?
Yeah, I'd say that. But here's the thing. Can you just keep changing offenses every year? At some point, I mean, this isn't about Matt Luke. This is about head coaches in general. You get to fire your coordinators once. You get to play that card one time. He's played it. I mean, he needs Rodriguez to leave. He needs Rodriguez to take another job, honestly. But if he fires Rodriguez, they owe Rodriguez a bunch of money.
Yeah, 2 more years of a deal.
You got to bring in a new guy. Someone asked about Will Hall, and the answer to that is no. Will Hall's not coming. Will Hall has positioned himself really well at Tulane. If is it Fritz? I always get
Willie Fritz.
Willie Fritz. If Fritz leaves, Will Hall's the next coach at Tulane.
You think so?
I know so.
Okay. Rodriguez has really bad body language right now. That's what keeps striking me about that.
Yeah. I thought he had bad body language on Monday. I told you that was a guy that wanted to get out of there. He wanted out. Not sure why. I don't know what's going on. And tell you who else, if we touched on this, this is where it starts to get interesting these last few games. If you want Matt Corral to stay to see what happens with this in the spring, I think you've got to play him some now. He's if you're Matt Corral and you get on the bus today to head home or the plane or whatever, you got to be thinking to yourself, okay, this season did not go the way that I anticipated that it would go. What am I doing? Why am I here? Because he's not splitting time with Plumlee. And all you need to know about what the coaches think is tonight when Carlson missed the last field goal and you get the ball back with a minute and I don't know what it was, 30? Roughly?
Yeah, sure.
Get the ball back a minute 30. No timeouts. Down 6. Chance to win the game. Who took the field?
Plumlee.
Who played the whole series?
Yeah.
If you're Corral, you now know where you stand. You lost your job to injury and did not get it back, and you lost it to somebody who has now officially, as the starter, has beaten Vanderbilt. And that's it. Is that right? He beat Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Plumlee, as the starter, has lost to Alabama, beaten Vanderbilt, lost to Missouri, lost to A&M, lost to Auburn. And you are not getting snaps. You've lost your job. You got a decision to make.
Yeah, basketball's on a week, Friday night.
Yeah, exhibition starts Monday.
Mississippi
College on Monday night, and then Arkansas State, the real deal, on Friday night. And then football Saturday, and away we go. Take some calls.
Yeah, in a second. I'm getting it ready.
I know you are. SMU just breaks a long run. They refuse to go away.
What's the score now?
54-38, I guess, pending the PAT. I would assume they would go for – no, you go for one here. No, they're going for two. Excuse me.
Go on to the thing now.
They got it 54-40 with 8:07 to go. So that game's not over. Phone's ringing all the way. Yeah, I say we see where we go here. I'm as curious as you are as to see what the mood of callers is.
What do you think it's going to be?
Generally negative is my guess.
Generally negative.
Hey, caller, welcome into Hand Raise, guys. Who's this? Corey from Amory. I know a Corey in Amory.
Wins. And Amory wins. Amory goes to Hatley.
Yep.
Chase?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think the Panthers would take that one. However, a different set of Panthers are who I'm expecting to come victorious this week, and that's Amanda Elsie.
Oh, you looked up their mascot?
I think I'm right about that. I think I just know it. Isn't that Jermaine Whitehead's high school?
Make sure that the listeners can hear.
They can. Yeah,
Okay.
We're good. I think I'm right.
I don't know. Hey, guys, man, I'd rather us got beat 60-10 than the way that it happened tonight, and I know a lot of people feel that way. I was totally checked out until we actually had a chance to win, and that's the most frustrating thing to me is that it seems like we have had a lot of chances to win, and that's frustrating. I would rather get beat 60-10 and just go on with my life than I would have to deal with, the way the game ended. I mean, I think you're going to have a lot of calls like that.
Well,
I may be wrong.
No, I think you're right. And here's the other thing. I'd rather lose a game where the other team beats me than where I look back and think, man, if we just done this, or if we'd done this, we would have had a shot. I'm a lot more content losing a game when the other pitcher just has dominant stuff and you can't hit him than I am when he's hanging slider after slider and you're not hitting it.
Well, I mean, I'm a Matt Luke guy. Y'all know that. I'm not going to talk bad about Matt. It seems like there ought to be a however here. I think the howevers are going to come later. I have a hard time with – was that a coin flip? Was that game a coin flip? Did it end up being a coin flip?
Well, it ended up being one because of the way the defense played, because of the way that Auburn kind of came out, because of some injuries, some different things. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, and again, that's kind of where we are. That's what I was mentioning a second ago. To you, is that a credit to them at some point, or is that simply another negative as you move forward?
I would rather get beat those coin flip games. To me, and somebody put this on the message board a second ago that was talking about Mike McIntyre ought to be the next head coach at Ole Miss and all this, and I understand what they're saying, but McIntyre is doing himself a disservice by making himself be such a good coordinator in these games that end up so close because he's never getting the job if they make a regime change. You get what I'm saying? Like it's a this whole thing has gotten so weird. I don't even know what y'all are supposed to say about it.
Well, I'll say this: if you decide to make a change, you don't hire off your staff, and I think Mike McIntyre's done a great job, But if Mike, you don't hire off the staff. If you make a change, you make a wholesale change. That's part of the problem with making the change off the Hugh Freeze staff and hiring his offensive line coach and then making him the permanent coach, is that you don't get that clean break. You don't get a breath of fresh air. You always have something that's connected to what was there previously.
Well, for the record, I'm for whatever Ole Miss decides, and I love everybody at Ole Miss, and I love both of y'all. And, whatever happens, happens. And I love the decisions, and I love the people that made the decisions.
Roll
Okay?
Tide. Roll Tide.
RTR, members. Bye.
Bye. We'll go right back in. Got the phones ringing off the hook right now. Well, missed that one. There we go. All right, hold on. Let me put you in, caller. It's going to take a second.
You know what I'm saying, though, about that, where people talk about the knee-jerk thing about promoting a coach. If you decide to make a change, you make a full change.
Yeah.
You bring in a whole new staff. You start from scratch.
I thought we had somebody on. They hung up.
We got somebody there. Who we got, caller?
On?
You're
Yeah,
on.
you're on.
You're on. What's your name?
Hang on. I got to mute. I know you guys have the deal. Damn, this is on. This is Chad or New Hampshire?
Hey, Chad. What's up?
New Hampshire, huh?
New Hampshire. What's the temperature there?
It is about 38 degrees. We have not had snow yet, Neil. But, Neil, this is the Chad that you fired about 4 years ago. I just want to say the recruiting's gone downhill since you let me go. So
It has. Hey, I'm glad you're not.
Are you staying in that same place Walter White did? There in the last season, in the Granite State.
damn right I am.
So you're sort of in a halfway house at this point.
What
Is
was that,
what
Mr.
you're saying?
Megorium? The Wonder Emporium was the one movie you have for the week.
Yes and yes.
Yeah.
But hey, I know more about this quarterback situation than Rich Rod does, and that's a fact.
Well, enlighten us. What do you know?
Yeah, fill us in.
Why in the hell is Corral not playing the whole game? I mean, Plumlee. We love Plumlee as a person. We love Plumlee in the slot. But why is Corral not playing the game? And look, I don't.
So here's what I was. Here's what I was told, Chad. Here's what I was told.
Go ahead.
Here's what I was told. I was told that Corral's decision making at the line of scrimmage remains problematic. I was told that Corral has a tendency to get them out of a good play and into a bad play. I'm not saying these things are true. I'm not saying they're false. I don't know. These are the things that I've been told. That he just thinks too much, changes too much, that they're not comfortable with him.
Well, that's fair and that's helpful. I just want to say too that Paul Couture was a better Chad than Jeffrey Wright back in the 2012-2013 era.
Jeffrey's never been Chad.
Yeah, Jeffrey has never been Chad.
Yeah, a little gray area there. But fair statement.
Yeah, it's gray, but it's not very gray. Jeffrey was never particularly comfortable with that idea. That wasn't his thing.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not trying to dog Jeffrey at all here. Making the call tonight. Congratulations to him for this week. Chase, I do have a question for you.
Sure.
Bourbon South, is it still going?
It is. Yeah, we're good to go. We've actually got a couple in the in the can right now.
Are you going to have Table Cobbleton on as a guest?
Do what now?
Are you going to have Table Cobbleton on as a guest?
Would you like me to
I
do
heard
that?
he's working on your logo. Yeah, I heard he's working on your logo.
That is true.
Chad, you know a lot for someone sitting in a halfway house in New Hampshire. I'll tell you that.
I know more than I should.
You do.
And hey, I'm just going to let Rebel Nation know this Glenn Boy's hire is a joke, and all you people know it. And if you need somebody to come in and be a hitman, I'm available.
Appreciate that. Well, I'm sure they appreciate the offer. Have a good night, bud.
Thanks, Chad. Hey, caller, who's this? Hello, Willie. What's up?
Hey, guys. I just wanted to talk about the game tonight. Look, I don't think Matt Corral's the answer. He had his chances. Of course, you remember, like you said, Plumlee has beaten Vanderbilt. Corral had his chances against Memphis and didn't get it done with 10 points. It's the offense, guys. Why are we continuing to run one of the better running backs we've ever recruited up the center's nest? Let's be honest.
No,
We're
it's
taking
a good question.
Quarterback and going right up in between the guards. Where are we threw one screen pass tonight and it went for 12 yards, and that was it. I just don't. Plumlee can throw screen passes all day. I don't understand why we're going deep or it's nothing. Rich Rod is washed up. Let's go get Will Hall and let's just move on to next year. What do you got? Is there any rhythm to this offense at all? Seriously.
Hey, Willie, your connection's not great. We got the gist of your call. We're going to let you go and answer your question. Thanks.
Go ahead. What do you think?
I don't think the offense has rhythm. I don't think it has rhythm at all. I don't like the mesh play being the primary play. I'm a fan of, if you're going to recruit SEC caliber players who want to play in the NFL, you need to run a pro-style offense. I just don't think it's complicated. Run a pro-style offense. Recruit to a pro-style offense and run a pro-style offense.
But
run something that they run in the NFL.
Like say some NFL themes. Yeah.
Fair
We're not talking about, hey, get under center. We're not talking about any of that stuff. No, just
But yeah,
conceptually.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
There's no NFL team running this.
What is this?
Whatever this is, no NFL team is running it.
This isn't anything right now. That's the problem. There is no flow to it.
But what it actually is not being run in the NFL. Drew Brees is not going to have the mesh point with Alvin Kamara.
It's fair. Give me a second to get you in.
What's up, caller? Who's this?
Hey, Kelsey.
Hey, Kelsey.
What's going on?
What's going on with you?
Oh, just thinking about all the decisions that got me to this point as an Ole Miss fan.
Where do you want to start, Kelsey? How far back do you want to go?
Well, I was born on a warm, sunny day. I'm kidding. I don't know, man. I'm just so sick of every week saying the same thing about these close games and the play calling and the coaching. I feel like a broken record.
So what do you think? What do you want to see happen? What do you think should happen?
I don't even know. I'm just curious. Really, my thing is we put a lot of blame on Rich Rod, but at what point do we start shifting that to Luke because he's the head coach?
Oh, listen.
It's obviously not.
No, I think you're right. No, I think that's more than fair. I think that's fair in absolutely every coaching situation out there where if you're going to blame the offensive coordinator, especially if it's the second offensive coordinator for a coach, you blame the head coach too.
Right, and things weren't working with Longo either, and so the common denominator there is Luke. And I'm not advocating for leaving him on the tarmac or anything, but it's not working, and it doesn't look like it's trending in a direction that will work.
It's fair.
It's-
I mean, there's no doubt about that.
If I were trying to
Are
argue,
you more frustrated tonight than the last few weeks? Because you sound kind of beaten down at the moment.
Well, I don't know. It's just, yeah, I guess, because it's just kind of piling on. Because it's like the twilight. It's the same thing every week. You know, the first couple games, it's like, oh man, we almost won. But now it's kind of like clockwork. You know, you can kind of predict what we're going to do, how we're going to fail, in what ways they're going to disappoint me again. So just every week, it's like more and more. And it's frustrating because it's like, you know, they don't pay me anything, but they're getting paid millions of dollars. So why aren't they doing things to fix it? It's just I think that's the most frustrating part, is just not seeing any effort to make changes.
When basketball
there may be some.
When basketball starts next week, are you going to start tuning out on football? Are you going to shift?
Well, no, I'm contractually obligated to watch football. It's the fine print on the degree, but I am happy that it's coming up.
when did you graduate?
2013.
Gotcha.
What's your degree in?
Well, pharmaceutical sciences, and then I
Oh.
got the PharmD in 2016.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I was there for nut and freeze.
So are we. Get you.
But well, yeah.
Feel your pain.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Where do you?
I sat through every game in 2011.
Ooh. You did
Yeah.
suffer. So where are you living
Right.
now? Where are you living now, Kelsey?
I'm in Grayson, Georgia, home of the infamous
Ooh, yeah.
Inducer brothers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Been there.
The other Kamara.
Oh yeah. David.
Oh yeah.
David,
Yeah.
not Alvin. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And Tony Gray and that linebacker. What was his name?
That's right. Appreciate the call.
No problem. Have a good night, guys.
You too.
Jump right back in. It's blowing up. Hold on. Give me a second, caller, to get you on the line.
Hey, caller. What's up? Hey. Who's this? Where are you tonight, Loyal Buck?
In Jackson.
Jackson, Mississippi.
First time, long time.
First
Yeah,
time, long
first
time.
time, long time.
Yep.
Drinking E.H. Taylor.
Which kind?
Hey,
Small
I
batch,
was
single
just-
barrel? Whoa. Go ahead.
Small
What-
batch.
Okay, good enough. Just curious.
Yeah, very good. Hey, I think we pretty much, I think Neil had said before, in terms of trying to find our identity, I think we realized what we are tonight. We have defined our identity, and we're going with Plumlee, and I just don't think that's the right move.
Oh, listen, I don't think there's any question whether they meant to or not. They absolutely sent the statement that they are
They're all in.
They're all in on John Rice Plumlee, at least for this season.
Yeah.
No question.
And
Listen, let me throw something at you. Tell me what you think, and feel free to say, Neil, you're crazy. And I said this when I was completely sober, and I'm still I'm more sober right now than I really want to be at 10:27. I told Chase sometime third quarter. Chase left for the first half, and he came back shortly after halftime, and I said, I'd sign a JUCO quarterback or I'd sign a grad transfer quarterback. And he just kind of looked at me, and I said, I would. He didn't say anything. His eyes sort of said, you're an idiot. But that's okay. We've called each other idiots before. Do you think that's crazy?
No, I think what's going to happen. So if Luke's not leaving, Rich Rod's not leaving. He's not going anywhere next year. I mean, nobody's going to pick him up. So if
I tend to
Luke's gonna
agree.
stay here, if Luke's going to stay here, Rich Rod's staying here, then in my assumption, Robbie Ashford's your quarterback. He's a better thrower. Nobody's got wheels like Plumlee, but it's obvious that Rich Rod likes to have that running QB. That's what he wants. And there is a dynamic to it when you're watching it. When it works, you're like, golly, it is a good offense when the running portion works. But you cannot live throwing 5-yard outs all game long. You just cannot. You've got to be able to throw the ball down the field. There was that the last drive where he threw it, where I can't remember who he threw it to. He got over one of the defenders, and it was on one of the last two when we scored. Last time we scored. But
can I interrupt you real quick? Because I want to go back to something that you're saying and other people are saying, and allow me to be the voice of reasonable cold water. There is no assuming that Matt Luke and Rich Rodriguez are still in their current jobs in August of 2020. There's no way they don't believe that they're not coaching for their jobs in August of 2020. There is not a chance in hell that they put their jobs in the hands of a true freshman. Whether Robbie Ashford ends up being just another quarterback or the next Cam Newton, he's going to be a true freshman. They're not going to do that. That is not going to happen. Whether it should or shouldn't, I'm not arguing that, but it's not going to. Chase, would you agree with that? There is no chance that a kid who doesn't show up until June is going to be handed the offense in August and said, hey, we got Baylor, Alabama, LSU, Auburn, and Florida in the first 7 weeks of the season. Go get it, bud. And by the way, we need you to win a couple of those.
No, very, very unlikely. And that's the point with the whole pick and Plumlee thing right now is Ole Miss as an offense is not set up for that. It's just
they
not.
Didn't recruit to that.
That's my point. They've recruited the exact opposite of that for years. The offensive line is an offensive lineman score.
They ran the Tunsil play.
The offense doesn't change from Plumlee to Corral. Honestly, it's the same thing over and over. It is a one-system offense, and it's very apparent that Rich Rod wants one type of guy for that offense.
Yeah, I can't argue with you. I don't even know what the Corral offense is anymore. We don't see enough of it.
There isn't.
Yeah, we don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I agree with you, Neil. I totally agree with you.
The offense that they ran. Hold with me one second. The offense that they ran before he got hurt is nothing like the offense they're running now.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think tonight, the first half, when we could not score, put point. I mean, what was it, the end of the second quarter? But for the first two quarters, essentially, it was the same 4 or 5 plays. It was terrible. And I don't know if that would have changed with Corral or not. And honestly, when Corral came in for his 2 series or however many series, it was the same offense. He was faking the dive and then going around the end, scrambling. There was nothing, as Chase, you said over and over, nothing over the middle of the field. Mm-hmm. The middle of the field is non-existent. It doesn't exist. It's either to the out or it's a fake dive and you're scrambling. But other than that, the offense is the same. It's the same 4 or 5 plays. Fake the dive, roll right, throw a 5-yard out, or give it to the tailback. It's not going to work. And as I said earlier, this is a offensive coordinator issue, and I don't know. And I would love to hear you guys say on this. Did Matt Luke? Did he pick Rich Rod, or was he picked for Matt Luke?
We'll hit that and a couple other things. Appreciate the call, then we'll move on. We talked about this a little last week, as well. Matt was most comfortable with Will. There's no doubt about that.
Yes.
Ross wanted Rich. My opinion.
Well, may have been Rich or Ross just wanted a bigger name.
Well, okay, fair enough. Yeah. Out of the two, I guess, put it that way. And the way the timing worked out, Will had to go on and do whatever. But I thought the play call, we're about play calling a lot. The play call that baffled both of us was with that 8 or 9 minutes left. It was 3rd and 13, somewhere around midfield. And it may have been an RPO. It may not have been an RPO. Either way, it was essentially a dive.
They ran it up the middle.
Yeah.
There was another play. It was 3rd and
8, 9 minutes.
There was another play, 3rd and 10. They ran a 4-yard route. And I was going, well, Auburn will give you a 4-yard pass play on 3rd and 10. They'll be happy to hand you that play. I don't know. I am back to my quarterback thing because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, I hadn't thought about it that way. They're not handing this offense to Robbie Ashford September the 5th or whatever it is that they open the season next year. They're not. They're not.
No.
I mean, that is not on the table.
It's
that
going
is
to be
not
one of these
an
two
option.
guys again.
Oh, there's no way Corral stays for this. There's no chance.
I mean, that no is a little strong, but
Okay. I'd take the money line against it.
would you?
I'm back to saying, hey, I got to go find a grad transfer quarterback. I've got to go find a JUCO quarterback. I've got to figure something out because I've got to be able to throw the football down the field. Because I'm coaching for my job in the first 2 months of next season.
Y'all are hearing the Skype because we have our headphones on our necks instead of up around our ears. This is what we hear all the time while this is going on. We have to just talk through it, and it kind of is what it is. So, all right, hold on one second. Let me get you logged in. Hold on.
Hey, caller, who's this?
This is Daniel calling from South Haven.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, guys. I'm pumped to be talking to y'all because I've been yelling at my TV all night. My wife has no idea what I'm talking about. So, yeah, but, man, I'm pretty furious. I told myself I wasn't going to get into this game, wasn't going to get emotionally invested because we were going to lose, and that was fine. And then they did just enough to, draw me in and keep me attached the whole damn game just so that I could be miserable at the end.
Does your wife go in a different room? What happens? Like, how do you handle this thing?
Oh,
You
man.
say she obviously isn't paying any attention whatsoever.
God bless my wife. So her first game with me, she watched the Florida State game with me. That was the first game of us together. So she got to see the first half, and I'm all smiles, and it's great. She's like, oh, this – I mean, I don't think she's seen a good Ole Miss season yet. No, she hasn't. So she probably just thinks Ole Miss has never won before, and she's always wondering why I'm still watching it.
Is she around? We can ask her about it, see what she thinks.
Oh, she goes upstairs, and she just friggin' does her puzzles and listens to her other podcast while I sit here and, yell at my computer, yell at my TV or whatever. But yeah, hey babe, what do you think about the game?
Yeah, put your wife on. Let's talk to her.
What do you think about it? Yeah, she has no idea. She just watches the game and she just wants them to win because I'm happy, or because it makes me happy. She did make a good point though. She said last week that she goes, one thing about this team that's weird to me is I don't know any of these players. I knew A.J. Brown, I knew D.K. Metcalf, and I knew DeMarcus Lodge and Jordan Tiamu and all those guys, but these players, I have no idea who the hell is out there. Which kind of goes back to y'all. You talk about how we don't have any access to these guys. It's kind of true. I mean, I don't really even know who this team is.
So what would you do? What's the answer here?
Fire everyone.
Fire everyone?
I want to get rid of everybody. Yeah, I want to get rid of everybody. I'm sick of Luke. I love Mike McIntyre, but he can't be the next head coach. I mean, we just need to get rid of everybody and just start over.
You worried about the $15 million or whatever you got to pay all these dudes?
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, we probably can't afford that. And then we're going to have to pay someone to come in, so I don't know who we're going to be able to hire. I mean, people say Mike Norvell. I love Mike Norvell. I'd love to have him, but I don't freaking think he would come right now. I think after this game, after this season, he might have some better offers than Ole Miss, obviously. But honestly,
You not worried about his background check?
I don't care. Unless he raped somebody. I mean, even murder, I don't know. It just depends on who it was. But unless he raped somebody, I really don't care. I'll take him right now.
Hey, thanks for the call.
Thanks, guys.
What?
Halle Berry is in my room if this dude has a wife.
That's pretty good. Hold on, caller. It's going to take me a second to get you in. All right, who we got on the line?
Hey, yes, Lee from Florida.
What's up, Lee?
What part of Florida?
Navarre, Florida.
Really? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Hey, appreciate what you guys are doing. Love the live feed. And here's how much I know it works, because every time we go on a road trip, I fire up the podcast, and my wife and son are like, "Oh my God, turn it off, turn it off." After the A&M guys,
You should get rid of
after
them.
the A&M game, we watch you guys. No, my wife's like, "Oh, this is awesome. Who are
okay.
these guys?" I'm
Oh.
like, "These are the same guys
She's great.
you won't listen to." It's probably Neil's bald head, but
Probably so.
so I've been trying to get a hold. I don't know how much I missed here, but we held on to Longo for 2 years. Now we're just no identity at all. How in the world can Luke survive this? You got to have something on offense. We look the same. It looks the same thing, just wash, rinse, repeat, time and time again. It's baffling. How can we have we had finally had a bye week, and I thought for sure we'd come out with something a little fresh, something different, a few new wrinkles. It's the same thing over and over again. I'm lost, man. I want to see him do well. I do, but I'm lost.
The close game didn't make you think that it's just close and it's just going to take a little bit to get over the hump?
No, Chase, you hit the nail on the head. It's another 0-5 game we could have won. It's another game we could have won, and we're 0-5 in games we could have won. It's not fair to the players. I don't think it's fair to the players. You can see it. I mean, he's a great. He seems like the kids love him. Don't get me wrong, but he's 0-5 this year in games that we could have won, and that it's a scoreboard business, man. You got to win one eventually. Memphis, Cal, A&M, Missouri, Auburn. You got to win one of those, man. You got to win one or two or three of those. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. It is a scoreboard business. It's a results business, and at some point you have to win games.
And money's, I mean, like I said, money's always a net money thing. They're going to lose a lot of money Saturday against New Mexico State. What do you think the attendance is going to be, Lee?
I've driven 800 miles to go to Oxford, round trip for football games, and there's no way in the world I would drive right now. I mean, to answer your question, I don't know, 15,000. It's embarrassing. Yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating, man. I mean, I got neighbors that are Big Ten guys. I'm in the Air Force or retired Air Force, whatever. So I got all sorts of friends, and I'm always the token SEC guy, and it's the same old this year.
Choose to leave the beach to come to Oxford for games? Like, yeah, every week you have like that internal struggle, I would assume.
Yeah. I mean, I graduated Ole Miss in '99 and had not been back. Didn't come back for a long time. We went to the Ole Miss LSU game, I think, in 15. The big win, I think Ole Miss won 38-21. That was a great game. But have been back a few times and love it, man. I mean, I love Ole Miss, born and raised in Florida, but I'm kind of like your fan that I think, it's kind of a baseline for, man. I mean, I love it. Ole Miss tied into anybody. I don't know anybody. But it's demoralizing week after week to see something that could be so much better. And I'm not the first to tell you that, and I know that's not new news to you, but you guys are certainly a lot closer than I am, and for those of you that live in Mississippi and love that school as much or more than I do, I can only imagine how those fans feel. But to see it, week after week, man, 0-5 in games this year we could have won. Outside of Arkansas and Vanderbilt and southeastern Louisiana, whoever it was, it's terrible. It's not acceptable. I listened to G Pitts and J.G. Tate hit it right on the head. You can't keep that guy. Can't keep him. You cannot accept that, because if you accept it this year, it goes into next year, and you got to cut it now. You got to cut your losses. It's not working. It's not emotional. It's just, I tell you what, that's what I see. If I'm wrong, tell me, but that's what I see.
No, I get it. I mean, it's how everybody's kind of feeling right now. Appreciate the call. Enjoy the beach.
We get an hour back tonight, right? You fall back. You spring.
Yeah, we
spring
fall
forward,
back. We spring forward.
Back.
Yeah. We get an hour back. When you wake up, it'll be, instead of 6, 5,
at 2 o'clock
7,
in the
6.
morning, it goes back to being 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
That is correct.
Hey, caller, who's this? Hey, Ty.
I'm glad we're competitive, but at the same time, it's clear there's talent in the program. He's recruited well. Just the in-game decisions are not there at this point. I don't know if anyone saw the clip of him like on the sidelines for the last minute and 15 seconds. The man didn't even have his headset on, and he literally just looked like he said F me at the end of it. Like, he seems incompetent.
He's not incompetent. That's not it. But there is something that's preventing them from getting over the hump in these games. And I don't know what that is. It's not my decision to make. But there is something. Late in the game against Memphis, late in the game against Cal, late in the game against Missouri, against Texas A&M, and now against Auburn, they don't get it done. And it's not just late in the game. It's throughout the game. They had opportunities tonight to really be in the game, and they couldn't do it. And then, like the one call that he got so upset about tonight was the one super obvious call.
He has no presence on the sideline. And maybe incompetence a harsh word, but I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. If you look at him compared to any engaged coach in the SEC, he looks completely different than all of those other 13 coaches. Even Chad Morris looks more engaged in the game to me. And I mean engaged in the sense of actually providing value for the team. He just sits there, and we all joke about it, stares at the scoreboard and looks flustered half the time. And that's where, like, I'm a senior at Ole Miss. I've seen some really bad football over the last three to 4 years. It's just like, this team's talented. They stay in games. They play hard.
Okay, so hold up, Ty.
We had a staff.
You're a senior at Ole Miss, and you're spending your Saturday night talking to us?
Oh, absolutely.
Do we need to have an intervention
and all my
here?
best friends. No, well, I didn't go to the away game.
Okay. So you're just hanging out in town. I got you.
Yeah. Don't
Okay.
give me too hard of it.
No, I won't. I just want to make sure everything's okay.
No, we're living the dream. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I just wish these players had the opportunity to have a real coach. That's really where I'm at.
Well, hey, really appreciate the call. Thanks.
Everybody's too sober so far.
I know. We need a little crazy.
Yeah, we're just
So
everybody's logical. Everybody
let's
has
address
kind of
the
same.
elephant in the room. You have a EKU shirt on.
I do.
Why is that?
Neil and I never talk about what we're wearing. We sometimes we show up, we're both wearing green. That's happened before. Sometimes we don't look the same at all. And you know what? We both just showed up tonight, and we both had EKU stuff on. It is the damnedest coincidence I've ever seen, really.
I have a good friend at EKU.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. And they had a big game today against.
Trying to show support in their endeavor against the Austin Peas.
Yeah,
today.
they lost to Austin P in overtime, and I just was supporting my friend and the program that he's around.
Is that all it is?
That's why I wore it.
Okay.
Richmond, Kentucky.
The Colonels.
Yeah.
The Colonels. They're still the Colonels in like some people.
Take a call for the love of God.
Is that getting on your nerves?
Oh my God.
Yeah, you guys don't hear what we hear there, and it is
wow.
It is kind of mind numbing at times, to be honest. It's a bit of a mess. All right, 1 second, caller. Let me get you plugged in. Who we got on the line?
Hey guys, it's Ole Miss Cub.
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, Cub?
Good. Hey guys, listen.
Hey, before we get started, right about now, 3 years ago was probably some emotional pain. But we're about an hour away from the 3-year anniversary, so cheers.
Okay, cheers. Hey, so listen, I'm a bit. I just wonder if Rich Rod is being insolent at this point about rushing on first down. I believe he did it 22 of like 24 times tonight. Like at a certain point, he's basically just being a jerk. I mean, surely he understands that you have to, vary that a little bit. So it's almost like he's just pounding it on purpose. and it just comes off as insolent to me, like it's almost just arrogance or something, you know?
I don't. Arrogance. Would that be the word you'd use?
I don't think it's arrogance. No,
Because I don't think so either.
Yeah, that's not it. I think there is a certain. I think there are tendencies. I think they're very strong tendencies. I think some of it is simply calling plays that are allowing those plays to be an option at the line of scrimmage. And now, look, that's still on coordinators, on coaches, on quarterbacks, on whomever. But I think a lot of times with these RPOs and these reads and different things, they're just keeping the ball and they're choosing the run option because of the way it's whatever, whether they're reading it right or wrong, I don't know. But that's my guess. I think a lot of this is simply up to the scheme that is in place. And I think that's why you've got to change some stuff and you've got to do some different things, because a lot of times instead of, opening up the passing game over the middle of the field, using the middle of the field, using all these different things, they just stay in these same rhythms and these same plays that are allowing it to literally go on and on and on up the middle. I mean, I think, was it ESPN said tonight that they have the most first down run tendencies of anybody in the SEC or maybe even the country, Neil? Is that right?
Yeah, they are running on first down more than any team in the country.
Yeah, that just doesn't work. Yeah, I'm the guy that's just not going to cut it at a certain point, and neither is Plumlee either. I got some seats where I can see the quarterbacks pretty good at the Vaught, and Plumlee's had really good. Corral has had really good body language throughout this entire time. I mean, he's always pumping Plumlee up, and Tisdale was real engaged, and but tonight's the very first time that I've seen Corral looking bummed out on the sidelines. He looked bummed out, and I don't say checked out, but he just looked pretty sullen over there, which is surprising because he's the ultimate warrior. He's not that type to do that, and that look really concerned me.
Sure. I mean, this wasn't what he thought he was going to walk into when he went to SEC Media Days in July. There's no way he thought that he was going to lose his job in early November to a true freshman. There's no way that he thought when he got hurt that he was going to lose his job to a true freshman. And in fairness to Matt, there's no reason for him to think that at the end of the last 4 games that enough has happened for him to not have a crack at his old job. I mean, if I'm Matt Corral, I'm not happy. It's not. Listen, I'm not picking on Plumlee, but it's not like they've gone 3-1 in these 4 games. They haven't.
No, not at all. And at the end of the Texas A&M game, I looked it up. Corral had 63 yards passing and 16 yards rushing in about a minute and a half. So it just, he's your guy there at the end, and it's just, I don't know, it's stupid to me. But at any rate, hey, one more thing, Neil. When you do your Bama voice, the Bama fan, Mama, when you do that, is he talking about his mother or his wife?
It's
both, I guess.
It could be either one, but usually it's his mother.
It's interchangeable for Neil.
It's his mother. It's his mother. He doesn't. He would talk to his mother. He just beat his wife on a bad day. Be upset. Go hit her.
All right, guys. I'm checking out. Thanks.
All right. Thanks. Jump right back in. Let's see. Give me 1 second, caller, to log you in. All right, who we got?
John Max.
Okay, what's up? How's it going?
How's it going, guys?
Oh, we're living the dream.
Living the dream. Me too.
You sound kind of down, kind of despondent.
I am. I mean, I'm kind of down. I've got a couple of things that I wanted to say. After listening to everybody else, I've probably got more than that to say. My first 2 things are, we have 2 weeks to prepare for Auburn with an injured quarterback that couldn't practice for 2 weeks. So why could we not come up with a game plan with the other quarterback that looked pretty good up to the Cal game? I mean, all the way up to the first half of the Cal game, Corral looked pretty damn good in the first half of the Cal game. And then he gets hurt, but then we can't come up with a game plan that for 2 weeks with a healthy quarterback, and then we start the quarterback that didn't practice for 2 weeks. I don't understand that, you know.
Well, I will say this. Everybody says they had 2 weeks to prepare for Auburn. They don't spend 2 weeks preparing for Auburn. That week, the week after, I guess it was A&M was the last game, they were pretty beat up. They didn't do a lot that week. It was just kind of some, go through the motion stuff.
I agree.
They went out on the recruiting trail Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's one of those deals where they spend the exact same amount of time preparing for one team. Once they get out of fall camp and into a routine, it's pretty much the same deal. They practice on Sunday. They take Monday off. They put in a game plan Tuesday, Wednesday, refine it on Thursday, walk through on Friday, play on Saturday. They try to get into creatures of habit.
I agree with all that. I do. I just don't understand, with a quarterback that has been hurt for 2 weeks.
Well, listen. Here's the. Let me. We're not. I'm not.
Auburn has the best defense in the country too. So there's not much we could do. I get that.
They do, but they had a couple of their top guys weren't playing. Marlon Davidson didn't play. Their leading tackler didn't play. Listen. Here's the thing. People can say, but I'll say this again. I said this earlier. I'll repeat it. With a minute and a half left, down by 6, Ole Miss got the ball back, and they went with John Rice Plumlee. There is no quarterback controversy anymore. They've declared who their quarterback is. They've declared who they want their. They have declared who they want their quarterback to be. They made it very clear tonight. They want it to be Plumlee. It is Plumlee.
And as an Ole Miss fan, that's my fear right now, I guess, is that this is what we're sticking with, and by God, that's what we're going to do. Corral's going to leave. The guy Roby Ashford's is going to decommit, and we're going to be stuck with what we got going into next year. I that's my fear, I guess, as a fan.
You're also trying to dodge the draft with Ashford. I mean, there is a possibility he blows up as a baseball player. I don't think he's there quite yet, but there is some chances of that.
There is some chance of that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I guess those are my thoughts. I'm not going to sit here and ramble too much over it, but
appreciate the call.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it.
See, we're Concordia College, whoever that is. They won today 19-18. They blocked 3 extra points.
Found a way. Hold on one second, caller. Let me get you in.
Hey, what's up, caller? Who's this? What's up?
Pretty drunk.
Yeah.
On what? What are you drinking?
What are you drinking?
Well, I drank a bunch of wine.
Red or white?
No, it was red white.
Red white.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. That
sounds good.
That's New York City.
Yeah, so it kind of comes out pink.
Yep.
So it's sort of like
rosé.
a rosé.
New York City tonight.
Yeah.
Kind of rosé. It's in New York City tonight.
Okay.
I'll be honest. Drunk as hell.
Then what'd you move on to after the wine?
Well, I went to some Macallan 18.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Except you couldn't taste
had a
it at that
couple
point,
Woodford.
so it seems like a little bit of a ripoff.
Well, not really. It was pretty damn smooth. Wasn't as sweet as bourbon. It went down pretty good. Ate some lamb tonight. It was fantastic. Watched the game, and here's what I'm upset about.
Okay.
You're looking at Jerry Neely, got 14 carries for 44 yards. Scotty Phillips got 1 carry for 4 yards. He's a guy that would have gotten 1,000 yards last year. We have committed to run John Rice Plumlee as our starting quarterback. We cannot throw the football. And I know we've kind of belabored this point, but we get to the point in the fourth quarter where we have committed to a running quarterback to run a 2-minute offense at the end of the game. We are trying to stick a square peg into a round hole, and I don't understand it. And I get the fact that Matt Luke was dealt a bad hand. It's a difficult situation to walk into. I know you guys have talked, 2019 is going to be the year that all the bills come in, but this just isn't working. I think Matt's a great guy. I think he wants to win. But if you want to energize a fan base and you want to energize recruiting, you're going to have to make a change.
That's fair. I mean, you've got money situations, and you don't know who the AD is. So who's making the change? Who's doing it?
Well, that's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Well, it is. But that's my point. I mean, if this thing drags out more than another, let's call it dozen days.
Yeah, a dozen days is the 15th. Sure.
That's probably the cutoff point where simply it's not going to happen after that point if an AD is not hired. I mean, debate how much factor the athletic director committee thing is or isn't. They met for the first time yesterday, I think.
Yes.
So this thing's got to move pretty quick, if that's even on the table. And I mean, I've talked to some people from a money standpoint who don't think it's on the table no matter what. Right, wrong, and different. I don't know. Good question, but they are saying that.
I've heard the same thing.
So what do? Do you go another year of just what this is because you can't make a change?
I mean, look, that's at least on the table in my opinion. But here's the deal too: you can't continue to do Groundhog Day. It's what I said on the podcast on Friday. Whether it be a restructuring, whether it be whatever, you cannot roll all these contracts over. I mean, that has to be job one, no matter what.
You at least have to redo the buyouts.
That's my point. Yeah. I forget the years. I don't give a crap about the years.
Right.
I'm talking buyout.
You can't let the buyout go up to what it was at the beginning of this season.
So, I get that. So I guess the question is, are you just stuck being where you are because you can't roll over buyouts? You can't figure this thing out financially. You have a tremendous leadership void. You can't make a change, and you just kind of have to roll the dice and go with what you have going into 2020.
That's at least one possibility. Yes. It's not very satisfying. I get that.
Yeah,
but
I understand.
Gentlemen, I'm going to leave you with this.
Yeah.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. Love this show.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Absolutely. Thank you.
I mean, ideal world.
Yeah.
You have an AD already in place, and he or she has made a decision and has begun to conduct at least enough of a search to have an idea of what would be out there. This is not an ideal world. It's not.
Do you think there is an AD candidate, or however you want to phrase that, don't get hung up on the semantics and words,
sure,
who would have a list in their desk that could move that quickly to go in 5 or 10 days to be able to have a plan in place? Because you don't fire somebody blind, even so. You have to know what you're doing. You don't get called out in the riffraff of the whole carousel and the whole search process.
Let me put it this way. I wouldn't hire somebody who didn't have that list in his or her hand. If I'm the people that have their hand up, Boyce's ass, controlling him. If I'm those people, I absolutely know that they have a list in place. And that not only is it a list, it's a realistic, viable, reachable list. But hey, I've never run a community college a day in my life.
I'm just going to let that sit for a second before we move on.
I haven't. I've also never grown a mustache like that either.
Can you do that? Could you do a mustache?
If I grew one, I would grow it on both sides. I wouldn't grow it on just like one half of the lip. Yeah.
Like Raleigh Fingers or Eckersley or something?
I would at least, it would just be consistent.
Some people were texting me going, I can't get in. You don't realize how many calls we're getting. And obviously I don't have names up on these kind of things. So I'm just having to grab and answer calls as they come.
Take one.
Yeah, I have no way to actually answer any one specific call. Hold on one second, caller. Let me get you put into the show. Neil started asking for your name before you actually get in. Go ahead. Who are we talking to?
I'm Christina Green. My husband actually had called earlier.
Okay. How are you?
I'm doing good.
She's about to verify her presence as a human being.
Yes. Yes.
So did you watch the game?
I watched the beginning of the game, but the thing was I had to bail out and go find a Zen place somewhere else in the house to get rid of this headache I had because, after a while, Daniel really starts to get into it and he just starts screaming, and which is fine because from wherever else I am in the house, I'm usually like cracking up about it then. But when I'm in the same room, it's kind of, unnerving at the time because I'm usually not paying attention. It's a lot easier for me to pay attention when I'm actually at a game and, I am paying attention, enjoying myself the whole time. For some reason, I don't ever get into it as much when we're just at home watching on the TV. But yes, so I am the mythical wife of Daniel Green from South Haven.
So are you? Was this fandom and this chaos? Was that almost reason to make you pause or bolt at the beginning? I mean, because 2016, Dan, your first season's quite the triumph there.
Yes. Well, the reason that I didn't get on the phone is because I didn't even know that he was on the phone, and he literally bolts downstairs, runs over to the couch, shoves the phone in my face, and is like, "Say something, babe. It's the podcast." And I was just like, "Oh my God, no!" And I was just shaking my head, like, absolutely not. I had no kind of like you were just sitting here playing a game on your phone, and now I want you to talk on the air with, tons of people listening. And so I was just like so freaked out. And then I went upstairs to listen to the section of his call, and I was like cracking up because of all these comments about him not having a wife. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm glad you think it's so funny." So, I mean, I really hope someone has Halle Berry in their bedroom because I'm real.
I mean, there's somebody out there that's going,
so,
yeah.
I mean, I really hope.
So were you watching the game on another television, or are you just like watching like Hallmark movies or something? No offense.
True crime podcast called My Favorite Murder. I will listen to it for hours. It sounds a little freaky, but it's kind of like a kind of comedy, but they really just read true crime stories every week. And both of the girls that do the podcast are comedians, so I kind of get lost into doing that. I don't watch the games when we're at home, but when we do actually go to the games because we have season passes, I love going to the games, and I actually enjoy watching them there.
So someone wants to verify your existence based on an answer that he gave. What was the first game that he took you to?
It was the Florida State game.
It's the correct answer.
So how did he convince you to call back?
He actually, him wanting me to call back wouldn't have been enough for me to call 107 times before this call went through. And I got a chance, but I was determined when I saw all the comments. I was like, this is just too funny. I was like, I have to call back. If it was next week, it wouldn't be as good. I was like, I have to call back tonight because it was just too funny at this point. Everyone's like making these jokes about it. It was just super funny and kind of entertaining to me a little bit. So I was like, I have to call in because at this point it's entertainment for me. So I definitely had to call back. He wanted me to because, he was sad that everyone was, thinking he was some weirdo lying about having a wife. I just thought it was funny. So yeah, it was kind of just like, this is good. I've got to call back and see if I can get on and let everybody know.
Well, hey, thanks for the call. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
It was more amazing that we actually got that number twice to be answering. Yeah. If you could see my screen right now,
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, that's the deal. I'm pretty polite. I don't accidentally disconnect too many people. I let it draw on a little longer than maybe I should at times. But that was good. I do appreciate that that call. I'm waiting on a different number to pop up in a second.
You're getting the same number over and over?
Yeah, there's one I don't want to answer, so I'm letting that cycle out, and then all right, let's go here. Let's go to an Atlanta number. Give me 1 second to get you added in. Yep, hold on 1 second. All right, who we got?
Kenneth.
What's up tonight, Kenneth?
Kenneth, what's up?
I don't know. What are we doing?
Oh, we're talking to you.
You tell us. What are we talking about?
It's your world. We're
I
just
can't
living
hear
in
myself.
it.
I can't hear myself on the
turn
TV.
turn your radio off and just talk to us on the phone, or turn your computer down for a minute. Just talk to us.
All right.
There you go.
I don't know, man. I heard there was a game. What's up with that?
How drunk are you right now?
I'm not drunk at all. I don't even drink, man. You don't have to throw around accusations. Why are we wearing? What's the with EKU? What's up with that?
We've already addressed this earlier in the show.
Well, some people may not have been here for earlier in the show.
I have a very good friend at EKU who sent me a shirt, and so I'm wearing it as a show of support.
Oh, all right. Well, go Hilltoppers.
Colonels.
Western Kentucky is the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's all right. I was trying to avoid the whole Colonel thing. It's kind of a touchy subject down here. I was trying to let that go.
It is.
But
it's not in Richmond, Kentucky, though.
Yeah, not there.
Well, all right. But yeah, so how's everybody doing? Is everybody live? What's up?
Yeah, it's great.
We're good.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll see y'all later.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks for the call.
All right. Well, that was.
It was touchy.
A little touchy.
A little bit.
You think so?
A little bit.
All right, hold on 1 second, caller. Let me get you logged in here. Turn your computer down while you're waiting. That'd be fantastic.
I didn't. No, I won't even say it.
Go ahead, caller. Who we got?
Bradley.
Bradley, how are you?
Good. I've been at the Georgia-Florida game all day, and I was just score watching the Ole Miss game. So did we just go with John Rice all day, or what did we do?
Basically, yeah, they used Corral a little. He was 3 for 6. He had a few carries, but no, it was 90, maybe 80 to 90% Plumlee.
Okay. I mean, I had more, but I just forgot it. Florida, Georgia will do that to you.
What side were you on, Florida or Georgia?
Well, my girlfriend is from Florida, and all her family's from there, so I was Florida, and Dan Mullen did Dan Mullen stuff, I guess.
Do you dislike Jacksonville as a city as much as I do?
Yeah, it's not as good. It's not that nice. It's okay.
It's all right. It does nothing for me. Like, every time I'm in Jacksonville, I'm depressed and can't wait to get the hell out.
Yeah, it's an average city. You get outside of Jacksonville, like Ponte Vedra, though, it's nice.
It's very nice, yeah.
Yeah, they got good golf courses down there.
Yeah, I'm a big golfer, as you know, so I play a lot of golf.
Yeah, I know you like -3 every day, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, a couple birdies here and there, par, a couple more birdies.
He did hit one fairway.
Maybe an eagle.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah, he's 1 out of 14.
All good.
All right.
So,
I like the EKU shirts, though.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
They're very fashionable.
Yeah, they're comfortable, too.
Yeah.
Dry fit.
Yeah. Well, anyway, have a good one.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Hold on 1 second, caller. We got like elevator music or something in the background on this one. What was that?
We're listening to last night's Dead Show.
Oh, okay. So what do you? What's up?
So this is Bob from Bogachita.
Okay. Yep.
I don't even know where to start.
At the beginning. Always at the beginning, Bob.
Well, I know, Neil, but I mean, can we cuss or not?
Within reason.
Don't just drop gratuitous F-bombs for no reason.
No. It's a crap show.
That's fine. Yeah,
well,
go ahead.
There is no identity on offense.
If someone
Right?
told you,
I mean-
if someone told you that you had to label it something, what would you call it? If someone said that you have to give it a label and no identity is not an option, what would you call it? I'm genuinely curious because I'm struggling with this myself.
No,
Like, what is it that
but that's kind of the problem. That's kind of the problem. I don't know. It's a mess. I mean, you've got – so at one point in the first quarter, the first snap, you've got you've got Plumlee in the shotgun, Ely to his left, and Snoop to his right. 4 freshmen in the backfield. You got Elijah Moore. There's nothing, but they don't do anything. It's why would you run Ely between the guards every damn play?
when that's clearly not his game. His game is space, right? You want to get Jerry and Ely in space.
We ran one screen pass tonight, and that's the only screen pass we've run all year. And it was like a 12 or 13-yard game.
You want to get Connor between the tackles. You want to get Ely in space.
Yes.
You want to see if I'm an offensive coordinator, I want to be able to go vertically. They have some receivers. I've seen them in person, like in the flesh. They exist. I want to make them a part of the offense with at least the threat of them in the offense. At the beginning of the year, Octavius Cooley was a threat in the offense. Octavius Cooley doesn't exist anymore. I mean, he's Manti Te'o's girlfriend.
That's the problem. I mean, I agree. Yeah. The problem is, I mean, I love Plumlee. Plumlee has the potential to be Julian Edelman 5 years from now. I mean, that is his role. But we got no quarterback, and I don't think Corral's the answer. I think Rich Rod has jacked this thing up so bad that we have nothing. I mean, there's nothing. There's no identity. There's nothing. And the thing is, the defense that was a shit show last year is playing its heart out.
No, they've had a number of really good games this year. They've only had a couple of games where they got lit up like a Christmas tree. For the most part, they've played pretty well, and they get better. The offense, on the other hand, has gone the opposite direction. There was a moment, we said this earlier in the show, but there was a moment where, and it might have been an instant analysis, they kept showing Rich Rodriguez yelling about Plumlee not being.
Yeah, he was getting frustrated, but the thing is, I'm doing the same thing looking at him. I mean, he can only get mad so much. He's the one that's calling the offense.
I mean, look, I'm not going to make this a parenting thing, but if you ask your kids to do things they can't do, at some point it's on you. At some point you have to know what people's limitations are. That's your job as a coach. You have to know, okay, this guy can do this, but he can't do this. So let's focus on the things that he can do. Let's avoid the things that he can't do. They keep asking Plumlee, in my opinion, to do things that he can't do.
Anything that's not sort of the dives or the reads that are runs has so little rhythm that it almost looks like some sort of backyard play that's drawn up because everything gets so anxious and hurried to get to whatever point it's trying to get that it kills all flow whatsoever with this offense right now.
Look, I'm by no means a scientist, but Auburn's the best defense in the league, or at least one of the top 3 or 4 defenses in the league. You can't run into the heart of that defense, but we seem to do it 4 out of every 6 plays.
Listen, I know Lane Pippin here in the chat is making a joke, but I'm not sure. I assume it's a he. I'm not sure he's wrong. They're running an RPO with no pass option.
Yeah,
I mean,
fair point.
I know he's being a little sarcastic, but he's closer to the truth. They're running this mesh point play, Chase, that has nowhere to go. They get tackled in the backfield running the mesh point. Frankly, they got lucky. Got lucky a couple of times that didn't result in turnovers. It's an RRO.
It's an RRO.
And I feel like
Run option.
I'm not. I don't feel like I'm breaking new ground here. But I mean, Matt Luke, I love him. God love him. I wish he would be successful. He's good at everything but in-game decisions. But tonight wasn't on Matt Luke. Tonight was Rich Rod.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a disaster.
But let me say this. We don't get to do that. Matt Luke's the head coach.
I agree.
So
I'm not arguing that.
In the same way that when they win games, and you go, oh boy, they won because no, you're the head coach. You get the wins, you get the losses. That's part of the game. That's the part that I'm not willing to do anymore at all. It's on the head coach. It's a scoreboard business, and when you're the head coach, it's you get the W, you get the L, you earn it one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. I just think, like, Rich Rodriguez, we thought he was going to bring us a new element to the offense, and it's a disaster. It might as well be 1997. He's a disaster.
One of the people in the chat has a great question. Did Jonathan Mingo, did he leave? Is he still there?
Well, that's a scary point because that guy. I mean, we've lost one guy at the portal this week.
Oh, was he there tonight?
He could be next.
I think so.
And he is. I mean, we got some talent outside, and they're going to leave because this offense is ridiculous. This offense is 1968.
Look, and thanks for the call. We're going to move on, but really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I didn't mean to cut him off right then, but anyway, so that is one of the things we talked about is that Rodriguez at the moment, right, wrong, or indifferent, it's kind of, now Chip Kelly's actually found a couple things the last couple weeks, I think, but it's having to reinvent himself because so many people do the exact same thing that he used to do when Rodriguez was very innovative. It's not innovative anymore. Everybody does these sort of things. It's almost sort of bogged down and in the past, and that's why when he has struggled at other spots and other jobs, that's what's happened. Is it just there's nothing that is surprising. It's something that is frankly tendency oriented, where you can kind of figure out what's coming. I mean, that's where he's at. I mean, I think it's probably a very critical point of his career right now as he's trying to get back into another head coaching job at some point and kind of reinvent himself. The offense right now is not doing that. I just picked one. Hold on a second, caller. Mute your computer or whatever it is. Who we got?
Muted. Hey, this is Brinks from Madison.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing tonight?
We're lovely.
Awesome.
Great. If y'all don't mind, real quick, can we just go ahead and do a cheers together? Can we just hold our glasses up and do a quick cheers?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
cheers. Speaking of,
I know you guys
I need to
had
go
a
pour
long night.
a glass of wine, a bottle of wine, a glass of wine.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking a little bit of Elmer T. Lee on the rocks.
Okay.
Oh, it's very nice.
It's good stuff.
And what about you guys? I haven't seen what you guys are up to now.
I just kind of basically finished my Buffalo Trace, and I'm thinking about pouring a glass of Pinot Noir in a moment. But I hate to leave the set.
What's that accent again? One more time.
Pinot Noir.
Thanks. It's spoken just like in northern Louisiana. I'm drinking a Midwinter's Night Dram right now, a rye from Utah.
Well, Chase, first of all, you've been drinking that since about 2 hours ago, so
I've got a big bottle in front of me. You just asked me what I was drinking. I'm almost done. It's down here. I mean,
would you be offended if I went to get a glass? Would that bother you? Would you be okay?
I mean, I can talk to my boy
No,
here for a minute. Go ahead.
I shall return.
I would love for you to have a glass, Neil. Go get a glass, Neil. Step away if you need to.
All right, Neil's going to get some wine. So what's going on? What are we talking about?
So first of all, the questions I wanted to ask earlier have kind of already been asked at this point, but my biggest question was, what do we think the reason why Matt Corral is not playing is at this point in time?
I've thought the entire time that Rodriguez is more comfortable with Plumlee. I think that in his mind, the decision making is better. Even arm talent aside, I think decision making is something that probably irks Rodriguez more than anything else. I think he likes Plumlee's there, and I think that given maybe the offensive line struggles from a patchwork standpoint, as far as the injuries, and just frankly, it was one of the question marks of the season coming in. I think that with the running ability and everything else, for whatever reason, Rodriguez is much more comfortable with Plumlee, where in his mind, it's, hey, if we can just improve the passing a little bit, we've got something here, and at a baseline, he thinks he's making at least the correct decisions to the line of scrimmage, getting them in good plays and seeing where it goes. Is that true or not? I don't know, but that is my theory on why we've gotten to this point.
Okay, may I do devil's advocate with you for a second? Okay. So Plumlee, being a little bit shorter than Corral, stuck behind the line of scrimmage where he can't see, is always kind of forced out of the pocket when he makes a passing play. And then as a natural unpasser, he rushes those passes and for whatever reason grounds them, as we saw tonight. I don't know that that's necessarily the best way to forward. I understand what you're saying about trusting Plumlee more, but in a way, is Corral not kind of more Bo Wallace and Plumlee kind of more, in a way, kind of a Zach Stout or a Robert Lane?
Ooh. I'm trying to get that comparison that Stout and Lane are the same dude.
Well, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. My point is that Plumlee is limited in his passing ability. We know that. And I feel confident that Rich Rod, being a longtime head coach and OC, knows that as well. I don't know how he could think that he's the better choice as a passer, even though he trusts him more to make the right passing decision. Like, at a point, you have to pick between the guy who may make the wrong decision but can also make the better talented throw versus the guy who makes the right decision but is not talented enough to make the right throw. That makes sense.
I get it. And look, here's the deal. Neither one of them are playing well enough to really carry an offense right now. You're looking for the best opportunity to move the football and put some points on the board because, like I said, I think Corral is being mismanaged in a way. I think Plumlee's got to continue to get better. I think there's some things from a mechanical standpoint as he continues to work on that will improve that. It's my spring would be really important. He's got the baseball thing. I'm still curious to see how that plays out as this thing moves forward. With Plumlee, I'm still waiting a little bit simply from the standpoint of I said last week, he's only been here since June. He's been thrust into this really, really quickly. So I do think there's an upside there that we haven't seen. But, yeah, with Corral, he only works and works well if you put him in and just let him go and you deal with a full game of what it looks like, my opinion.
Right, and I agree. But the problem is we haven't gotten to have that opportunity since the second game of the season.
You're right. I mean, there's no doubt. But I think at this point, as Neil said, I think it's been chosen. I think it is what it is.
And I agree with you too. And I think there's a lot to the the politically correct way to say this is not there, but I think there's a part of the fan base that prefers Plumlee to play, and I think they're listening to that part of the fan base.
It's something that I'm told is not true, but I wonder if subconsciously that's true.
All right, let me ask you one more question, then I'll get out of here and let y'all have a good night. All right, let's say John Hartwell is hired in the next 2 weeks. Let's say Keith Carter is hired in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
If John Hartwell is hired, what does he do? If Keith Carter is hired, what does he do?
I don't think. I mean, this is guessing. Whatever. Nobody quote me on this. I don't think Keith would make a change, but that is Keith's issue. Is that he's the only guy who have been here long enough to where any kind of plausible deniability or timeline not mattering. So it puts Keith in a very weird spot if it's him. But I do not think he would make a change. With Hartwell, I think he would want to make a change. I think that though he wouldn't necessarily have all the information at this point to be able to do that. Plus, he'd have to be able to pull off. He could pull something that really, really was impactful at the coaching
Here's
position.
the problem for Keith. Keith wouldn't have the excuse. I agree with you. He wouldn't do anything. The problem in that scenario is, let's say, for kicks and giggles, okay, that they start 2-5 or worse. The backlash would be tremendous. And people would say, why didn't you make a change in November? And Keith wouldn't have the ability to say, well, I didn't get the job until November. They'd say, well, you were here the whole time. You saw it. Anybody else, whether it's Hartwell or anybody else, they have the ability to say, I wasn't there in time to properly evaluate it.
And you got to meet and look at the
all
books.
fair.
I keep coming back to money. It's not a nothing.
No, the money's real.
It's not monopoly.
It's somewhere between 12-ish and 16 million-ish dollars. It's a lot of money. Not sure they have it.
Right, and I think the smart fans and smart alumnus understand that. But at the same time, you have to also, at a point, decide it's time to move on. And even if it's expensive and cost prohibitive, you have to decide if you want to win. And right now, we're losing games we should win, and that is unacceptable to most of the fan base, I think.
I'm going to play a little poll game here with everybody. We have 425 people watching now. The number's been more than 400 pretty much the whole time. It's been over 500 most of the time.
Appreciate the call when we do this.
Just a real quick yes no answer. Should the Egg Bowl, yes or no, determine the coach's fate? No snark, just yes or no.
You good?
Yeah.
Turn the computer down, please.
Yeah. I mean,
all right, who we got?
The whole if they win, he stays. If they lose, he goes. Are you cool with that as a fan, saying that it comes down to one game?
Who are we talking to?
Hey, it's Jarrett in Gulfport.
Hey, Jarrett, how are you?
Doing fine, guys. How are y'all?
Lovely.
Yeah. So, the question, or I guess the thought that I have is, so we were talking earlier about the lack of identity with the offense, right? And we know that Plumlee can't throw it. We know that. So, in your minds, how bad of an idea would it be because if you're going to do this 3 yards in a cloud of dust thing, I think that works. I mean, I've said before that, I'm an Air Force fan. I watch that every week. It works fine. By the way, they're 7-2 and people want to fire the coach. So people want to fire the coach everywhere. I don't get it. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. So, but like what we seem to do is we're kind of like on schedule for that. And then we'll run one of those, roll Plumlee out to his right and he throws it at somebody's feet. And if you're doing that, you can't stay on schedule to run that kind of offense. So, I mean, would it be an awful idea to just commit and say, hey, look, we're not going to throw it a lot. We're going to run it most of the time, and we're going to take a shot downfield here and there. And obviously you need to tell the receivers and the recruits, like, look, this is just what we're doing this year because that's what we got to do to win right now. That's not our identity going forward. Does that make sense?
I mean, I think in a lot of ways that is what they're doing this year, though. I mean, because they're not, like I said, they're not really stretching the field. They're not throwing over the middle of the field. All the passes are rollouts that still have run options in them, and then they're trying to throw the ball toward the sidelines.
Yeah, I guess it just feels like they're kind of doing it, but they're kind of doing it half-assed.
Because
like
in the SEC,
you got to go all the way.
I just don't think with defensive lines and front sevens as good in the SEC and athletic, you can really sell out and just go, hey, we're going to run it nonstop, and that's it. It's just to me from an athletic standpoint, especially given Ole Miss's offensive line issues right now from a health standpoint and everything else. I mean, Ben Brown went down for a good bit of the day and everything else. I just don't think it's sustainable. I think that my opinion is you're better off at least trying to mix in the middle of the field and throw the ball around a little bit.
The results.
Yeah, that's true. But if you're gonna do that, you got to go with Corral because Plumlee can't do it.
The results of my poll somewhere about this is a quick, very scientific Insta poll. Somewhere 85 to 90% no, it shouldn't come down to that game.
Yeah, I said no.
I don't think it should.
Yeah,
that's a mistake. One way or the other, and that's not fire Matt Luke, or it's not at all. It's me saying you can't let one game determine what you're going to do. You should know going into that game. I've been saying this on the podcast for a while. I'm convinced I'm right. This convinces me more that I'm right. The lack of a voice of leadership is just deafening right. The silence from that lack of a voice is deafening right now. There's no one to speak up. Where's Glenn Boyce in all this? I mean, he's known this was out there for a while.
Because he is the only permanent administrator right now.
Well,
so,
and I mean, and all jokes aside, I mean, he conducted all these interviews. He met with all sorts of people. He met with presidents of current universities. He met with provosts. He talked about people's plans for the university. He knew athletics was a part of this. He knew football was the big part of athletics. Kermit Davis might disagree, but nobody else would. Well, that's it. I mean, you've known this was out there. Where's the voice?
So, quick bourbon question for you, Chase.
Sure.
My mom gave me. You ever seen these? They're like these sticks. They're like not just a stick, but it's like a wooden thing that you're supposed to like put in the bottle for like 24 to 48 hours. And like when she gave it to me, I was like, this is blasphemy. I'm not putting this in my bourbon. But I decided to just give it a try. Have you ever heard? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea what you're talking about or what the intent would be. What is it supposed to do?
So it's a piece of wood that you put in the bottle. So it's like additional aging, essentially.
That sounds like a complete utter ripoff.
Yeah, no, I tried it and it tasted exactly.
Yeah, I think somebody's just making a buck or two.
Yeah, it was dumb. I was just curious if you ever heard it.
No, I haven't, but kind of glad. So anyway, appreciate it as always.
Yeah.
Oh, Denver, you're so on about bitters and a screwdriver. Game changer.
It was a game changer.
Game changer.
We had it one time, and both of us were completely hooked. I mean, that was the thing.
I'm already looking forward to my Christmas Eve screwdriver.
Why are you only having a Christmas Eve screwdriver?
I didn't say I would only have it that day. I'm looking forward to that day.
But why are you worried about that one?
Because I want to wake up Christmas Eve morning and have a screwdriver.
Okay, who are we talking to?
This is Martin.
Where are you, Martin?
We're in Natchez.
What are you drinking?
We're drinking Old Forester.
That's what I wanted to get to. Straight on the rocks. What?
Maiden Bond with a couple ice cubes.
Ah, congratulations. That sounds good.
And I just want to congratulate y'all because my father is a graduate of Eastern Kentucky University. Cool. He is a colonel.
Go Colonels. Great people there at Eastern Kentucky. I don't know if you've I don't know if you've ever read the book College for the Commonwealth. It's written by the current president of Eastern Kentucky. It's a great book.
I've missed that one actually.
It's very good. It's a quick little read. It's good.
Yeah, I've never been to Richmond. I never have. He never took me up there. My family lives in Kentucky. They never take me to the Derby either. They take my brother, but not me.
Anyway.
So what's going on?
Good book. You'll enjoy it. Check it out.
I really don't have much. My wife's sitting next to me. She's watching some like dieting show or something. She wouldn't even watch the football. That's how dejected we are. Like we can't even watch the football. It's been, and I realized I have not seen an Ole Miss win in person since the 2015 LSU game. It's bad.
I mean, that was a good one though. So if it's going to take 4 years,
well, that's next year's going to be bad. I figure 2021 when we finally get a new coach, things will be a little bit better.
You sound very dejected. Is your wife there?
It's a wife. Yeah, she's sitting over there.
Can we talk to her?
Not a pleasant. If she comes over here.
You can't call her over here?
Can you come over here? She's just shaking her head. I don't know what that means.
Yes or no?
We would like to speak to her.
Can you speak? You can't. You're just shaking your head.
No, she can speak. I heard her.
She is alive. She's a real person.
Tell her that we're worried about her husband. We're concerned about his overall
We need an
emotional
intervention,
being.
and it's going to require her help.
She doesn't even care. That's how bad it is. She just doesn't even care.
So she has reached the apathy stage of your relationship that many people. That's not good, because that could mean that you're. That could mean you're getting fired in 7 games.
It's not even with me. It's just with everything. I mean, she watched a dieting show rather than even watching the fourth quarter because she knew what was coming. And I actually tried to care, and we knew what was coming. But
this is sad.
It's not really sad.
No.
I mean, we all knew what was coming. I mean, you can't have someone who can't throw a football out there just running around pretending he's Johnny Football, but he can't throw. And that's what it is. But, it is what it is. Mike McIntyre should win the Broyles Award. That's my thought of the night.
He's done a good job.
To keep us in that game from what they were last year, it's a massive improvement.
No doubt.
Well, tell your wife that we hope she has a great weekend, and we hope things get better for both of you. We're worried.
She hates the weekend. She's counting down for Monday because Monday the kids go back to school. So we only have 36 more hours.
Hang in there.
Hang in there. Yeah.
We're doing.
Sorry about that. But
goodness,
that was not the way to perk us up at 11:40 p.m., was it? That was.
I'm just kind of sad now.
I know. I was. That was really depressing. All right, hold on a second, caller. Okay, mute the thing, please. Yeah, hold on.
That's okay. Who's this?
From Bogota.
Oh, what are the odds? 2 calls from Bogota.
I know the guy stole it from me. I was going to use it, and then he stole it.
So what's up?
All right, so the first thing I want to touch on is Neil asked the question earlier was, did this loss hurt more than, say, A&M? And I don't think you can say it does because, as Neil alluded to, there were several key players on that ferocious Auburn defense out. There were a couple fluke plays, and there was 3 missed field goals that kept Ole Miss in this game. So really, Ole Miss should not have been in the game, but they were. And I feel like Matt Luke handled it fairly well going down the stretch versus, say, the Cal game or a couple other games where he burned some timeouts.
Yeah. It's fine. I mean, there was nothing. Look, until the last couple of drives, there was nothing exciting about their offense. There was nothing exciting about the game. It was pretty ho-hum.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
They missed some field goals. Auburn gave them an opportunity to get into it. They didn't take advantage of it.
Well, but so if Auburn plays Ole Miss the way they played other games this year, Ole Miss is not in that game, and this is a non-issue.
That's not what happened, though.
Well, okay, that's fair.
You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be smart. I'm just saying you play that. You don't have to be better than Auburn the whole season. You got to be better than them for 3.5 hours, and you had a shot tonight.
Okay.
And when here's the reality about a program like Ole Miss. Okay, you don't have the resources of some of the other programs, and to maximize your potential, you've got to win your non-conference games. You've got to beat Vanderbilt. You've got to beat Mississippi State. You've got to beat Arkansas. And when you play programs like Auburn, when they present their weak side to you, you've got to attack it. Because there's obviously going to be games when you're a program like Ole Miss where you play the elite power programs, Alabama, LSU, Florida, Georgia, where you can play your best game and not win. It happens. Like this year, Ole Miss played Alabama. Ole Miss wasn't going to beat Alabama. There was no way to beat Alabama. You could see that quickly. But when you play a team like Missouri or Texas A&M, and those teams present themselves to you and say, hey, stab me right here in the heart, you got to do it.
Okay. All right. Fair. So did Matt Luke lose his job tonight?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, not. I don't think so at all. We're gonna move on there. Appreciate the call. Yeah, I don't. No, I mean he didn't do that. It was simply the matter of was it another one of these things or was it not? I mean that was the question coming in. I still think it's the question is. Does he get credit for keeping it close tonight, or is it just another coin flip loss? That's what people have to decide, and that depends on what your mood is going in. But no, this one game did not determine his tenure at all,
absolutely
in my
not.
opinion.
Nor should it. No one game should determine a coach's status.
No, like not at any point whatsoever. So I mean, I don't think that's the deal. Just like the state game shouldn't, and that's what most of our listeners appear to be at least somewhat sane with. Would you say 80-20?
Oh, it was more at 90-10.
Who we got on the line?
This is Jeremy. Chase, really, you've all probably that people couldn't told you couldn't afford it financially. I'm going to throw like two scenarios that played in each other to you as far as a money thing, because how I've thought about it is, in y'all's opinion, say this Ole Miss would owe out $6-7 million to get rid of everybody. Would they do it? And kind of how I'm playing off of that is that, we've talked about the Baylor game next year. You talk about $15,000 for next game. If they start at 2-5, wouldn't the money almost be the same if they owed out $6 or $7 million?
That's very possible
this year.
Yeah, sure. You're gonna lose money if the program doesn't turn around at some point from a wins and losses standpoint. Because I mean, what are they? They're 3-11 in the last 14.
They lost the last 5 last season, and
3-11.
3-11.
So couldn't, in like some possibility, that's what everybody's expecting, you even almost in the end lose more money.
But you still got to have it.
Yeah, because you said $6 to $7 million.
It's double that.
It's probably exactly.
Matt's $6 million by himself. Maybe more.
True, I'm just kind of thinking of
No,
overall,
I get it.
Throughout the whole year
and there could be some offsets. I mean, look, it's not an easy decision at all. There's no obvious clear-cut deal here.
No, because here's what's going to happen, right? They're going to beat New Mexico State on Saturday, and it's going to be in front of, if I'm right, 15,000, and if Chase is right, 24,000, and if we're in the middle of that, it's 20,000, which is still an incredibly small number of people. And some of that's going to be the Boy Scouts of Olive Branch who get a book of free tickets. And then you go LSU, they're going to lose to LSU. They're not beating LSU. They're just not. And then you get an open date, and you go to Mississippi State. So they're either going 5-7 or 4-8. And if it's 4,
they haven't proved they can even beat them.
If it's 4-8, the 4 wins this season will have been against Southeastern Louisiana. I'm sure they're wonderful kids, but come on. Arkansas, which appears to is about to go winless for the second year in a row in the SEC. Vanderbilt, and New Mexico State, which might be the worst team in Division I.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're awful?
They're awful. So if those are your 4 wins, I mean, what do you have to show for it? I mean, look, we always do this. It's kind of the Crash Davis comes out to the mound and the pitching coach comes out and he goes, we're dealing with a lot of shit here. We're dealing with a lot of stuff here. I mean, there's a lot here. This is not as simple as, hey, let's just buy some candlesticks and move on. There's a lot of stuff. It's a multifaceted topic. It's a multifaceted thing. There is no one easy, clear-cut answer.
And one thing I want to mention, and me and a buddy of mine talked about this, I guess, shortly after the game, kind of everything I brought up. Luke, one of the big things that still brought up for Luke, that he didn't make a change at coordinator. Do you think if he made seeing how the defense is this year, I think it makes it worse that he didn't make a change. If he made a change and possibly one more game last year, that everybody knew like the payment was up for this year, this is possibly not even as much of a conversation.
I think that's at least possible. If you're saying that you're going to get the McIntyre level change there and that looks like this is going to look. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff. I mean, it's even just the freshman quarterback thing has changed things. I mean, we talked about this a few weeks ago, but I think it's even more of a conversation now, and it is what it is. This is a hypothetical. It means nothing. Jordan Ta'amu is the quarterback, and they've won 2 or 3 more games.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Like 4.
No doubt.
And I'm not even saying, I'm not saying Chad Kelly. I'm saying just Jordan.
No, they're 3-6.
A good college quarterback. Probably flip it.
They'd be 7-2.
I think that's probably right.
7. I'm not willing to go. They'd win all 5 of these games.
But a few of them.
I'm willing to say they'd win 4 of them.
Yeah, I think you're right. Appreciate the call. I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, I really do. Give me 1 second, caller, to get you in.
You know what? Coors Banquet beer is an underrated beer. It's not bad.
Mute your computer, please. Thank you.
Turn it down.
Mm-hmm.
Who's with us?
This is Chuck.
Chuck, where are you from?
Oxford.
All right. What's up, Chuck?
What's going on?
You tell us.
I'm just waiting to get online.
You're online, Chuck.
Yeah, we're good. You're live.
Okay.
What's up?
Hey, what's up, Neil? How you doing, Chase?
Hey, Chuck.
First thing I want to say is to Neil, because he has like 47 podcasts during the week, and he said that in one of his podcasts, he said he would never let his daughter date a Cardinal fan.
That's true.
And he's in good news because no kid his daughter's age even watches baseball, so he'll be all right.
That's a good point. You know, Carson came home from school the day after Game 7, and he was so disappointed because nobody at school was talking about Game 7.
Here's what I'm going to say. I was going to say I'm 48 years old, and I followed Ole Miss football for a long time. If you go back to Tuberville, I would always go to every game, away and home. We always had hope. And then we had, after him, we had who? Cutcliffe. We had hope. And he left. And then we had Coach O. We still had hope.
Mm.
It doesn't matter if we win or lose. We always had hope. And then you get Coach Luke, and he was part of the problem that Freeze left us. And it's just a bad thing.
I said before this is probably before Freeze did the back-to-back Access Bowls. I thought as a baseline, Ole Miss 8-4 program. I still believe that 8-4. You'll have the years where you win more. You'll have the years where you only win 6. But there is a large segment of the Ole Miss fan base that goes, beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and when we go to the stadium, let us think we got a shot. We got a shot today. May not win them all, not going to win them all, but go into every game going, hey, you know what? What the hell? We got a shot today. I think that's all anybody's really asking for the most part.
That's all we want. And I gave up my season tickets when they hired Luke because we just don't have. I don't feel like we have hope. And then we get Boyce. It doesn't even help anything at all. And it's just. I mean, sometimes people were worried about plays at the football game, but as somebody that my business relies on Oxford, Mississippi, I need Ole Miss to be good. And right now, it's not good. It's not good at all. And I don't know what we're going to do about that.
Devil's advocate for just a moment.
Sure.
Go ahead.
They've only been blown out once. That is hope. They're in every game.
Yes, but what were the numbers on Friday about the enrollment? I never even heard.
I didn't see them.
They haven't released
They've
them.
been kicked down the road.
The rumor is that freshman enrollment's down almost 20%.
Of course. I mean,
rumor.
I just think we need a spark. Ole Miss needs a spark, and we don't have a spark right now at all. Just something to give the fan base hope.
So you're saying you're saying a chancellor who could communicate a message and have some dynamicism would be a good thing?
That would have helped.
Yeah.
Anything. We just need something. And people don't want to – I mean, I'm glad Kermit Davis is going to do a great job, but football runs this town in Oxford. I mean, that's just the truth. We need a spark. It doesn't matter who you hire. We need somebody that's going to give us a spark.
I get it. I mean, I've talked to multiple business owners who feel the same way. That's certainly a deal where this is the first year where there's been the precipitous fall. from a business standpoint
Yeah,
around town, where
Yeah.
it has taken a severe downward turn.
It's not good at all in town. It's terrible, and we need something. I mean, I don't think everybody's talking about plays and who does this and what on the football field, but what we need is somebody that's going to give us a spark. I mean, I don't think Ole Miss will ever hire a guy that will do that because they want somebody that can control, like Luke or whoever, or Boyce.
I get it. I mean, I do.
I don't think Boyce will be controllable like that. He ran Holmes. He's got this.
He's too busy leading.
He's busy.
Yeah.
He's busy leading.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Holmes did just win the state championship in soccer, so maybe he's going to bring that here. I don't know.
Are you scared?
But I'll hang up and listen.
Are you scared to fly at night?
No.
No. Okay.
I appreciate it.
Randomly, just curious.
I love you guys.
All right, let's get one in here. 1 second. What hung up? Yeah.
You ever had a concrete truck?
I have not. That has not been something that has been an item that I have.
How much do you think you get for a concrete truck?
I gotta get this person in. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm waiting on you to tell them what your name is before I actually get them on the line, like usual.
Yeah, well, hey, look.
All right, who we got on the line?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good. Who are we talking to?
Hey, it's T-Max, man. I'm in Asheville, North Carolina.
Hey, how are you?
First off, I'm drinking Old Overholt.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Malden Rye.
Yeah.
And I am sick of all these people calling in talking about, oh, I'm sad we're not doing good. People need to be pissed off, mad about this shit. You know, this is like, well, I love the kids, and I love the guys, and everything's good, and I love Matt Luke. No, be pissed off. Be mad. They need to fire these people and move on and get some people in there to do something.
Who would you trust to do that?
Hey, the moment you fire
I know, but
the moment
I
you
mean,
fire somebody, it's no longer they're no longer to be blamed. It's the new guy.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know, but I'm at a point now I want to burn it all down. I mean, I'm so angry because they have put us in this situation, and it is awful. And people are mealy-mouthing around talking about, oh, but we still love Ole Miss. Hey, be mad, be pissed off. You think they would do this at Alabama? You think they'd be like, well, I love Alabama,
Well,
but
they did for a
Mike
while,
Shula, he's
until they
all
figured it
great.
out.
No, it's hey, listen. I've told people this. There was a moment at Alabama where they had a decision to make. They were at a crossroads, and they made the decision.
Yeah.
And the last 11 years,
Well, they did it.
It's paid off, and they changed their culture. They changed the old guard. No longer had access to the building. They were no longer able to call and say, "Hey, coach, this is Jimmy from Mobile. I thought I might come up with my brother and my friends, and we might come up to practice, and thought we might eat there with the team and look at the players and talk to you a little bit about the game plan for the Mississippi State game." That stuff is over. Nick Saban was like, "Hey, look, seriously." Nick Saban said, "Hey, here's the deal. I'll take the job. But if I get the job,
They need somebody to get in there and get somebody in. And this idea that people are saying that they want to hire, some assistant coach from some other program or an assistant coach here. No, this is the University of Mississippi. You go in and hire a CEO, a coach who can come in the SEC and coach, not somebody who's learning on the job like this guy is.
No, I think it would take, to do it the right way, all jokes aside, it would take somebody to walk in and say, okay, so here's the thing. It's my program. I'm running it. Top down. I'm responsible.
100%.
I'm a results guy. I don't want the whole everything. I'm not picking on anybody here, but like, I don't need the old men hanging around the 1810 club talking to the players. I don't need
Ole Miss, but no, they need to think about what they want in the future, how it's going to work, and you're an SEC West team.
Yeah,
you can go and do anything you want.
You just nailed it. I tell people this all the time. Here's the great thing about where you are, right? Is in so many businesses, you're not sure who the competition is. There's like all this stuff out there. Like for us, we're like today, we're like, hey, like yesterday, Chase called and he goes, hey, what do you think about if we change the name of our YouTube? All this stuff, because we're like trying to figure out precisely who we are competing against. Because for the longest time, we were like competing against the Ole Miss Spirit. But the truth is, they have a completely different product than we have. We're not competing against them. We're not. But if you're Ole Miss, here's who you're competing against. Okay?
6 names.
Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Texas A&M. That is who you compete against. That's who you compete against. So here's the thing, and man, people hate this. People hate this. When Alabama and LSU are in your division and you play them every single year, they set the standard. You either meet it, you either
100%.
meet it, or you don't. It's that simple. It's really...
And you win when you can. You know the ceiling. You can do it. It can be done.
It can be done. It can be done. But to do it, you at Ole Miss, people say, "Can you win at Ole Miss?" Man, I get all these people. It's so funny to me because I get this stuff from people. Man, you set me off. So here I go. I get all these people like, "Well, you hate Ole Miss." I'm like, "No, I don't hate Ole Miss." But here's the reality about Ole Miss. Can you win at Ole Miss the way that they win at Alabama? Probably not exactly the same way. Because Alabama has more margin for error. But I covered Alabama.
Right.
I covered Alabama when Dennis Franchione was there. He didn't win. I covered Alabama when Mike Dubose was there. He did not win. I covered Alabama when Mike Shula was there. Mike Shula's still in the NFL, man, drawing a big check. Mike Shula's a good football coach. He did not win. So when people go, well, everybody wins at Alabama, that's, pardon my French here, boys and girls, but it is 12:01 a.m. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Not everybody wins at Alabama.
Bullshit.
Can you compete at Ole Miss? Yeah, you can compete at Ole Miss, but you have to be efficient. You have to be very good. You have to have a very good staff.
You got to win the games you're supposed to win, too.
And absolutely. And at Ole Miss, the path to being competitive, the path to getting it done at Ole Miss is to consistently be 4-0 in the non-league, to always kick Vanderbilt's ass, to beat Mississippi State 8 out of 10 times, to beat Arkansas 8 out of 10 times, and then it's when you catch Auburn on a night like tonight, you win the game.
Right.
And
or
hey,
Texas A&M, when they're trying to give it to you, hey, here, you please take this game.
Yes, you have to win that game. No, are there going to be games where you play Alabama, where you look at Alabama and you go, hey, at the end of the day, they just got more dudes than we got. We can't beat them. Sure, of course, that happens. Are you going to play LSU on days when not only do they get off the bus looking like $1 million, but they play on the field looking like $1 million, and you just get your ass beat? Sure, it happens. That's life. And you on those days you tip your hat and you go, hey man, those cats are good. They're going to play for the national title. Kudos. Sure, it's cool. That happens. But,
exactly.
But when you catch Missouri,
and you got to be excited, man.
When you catch Missouri on a night like they caught Missouri, you got to win the game. I mean, it's just simple as that. And because here's the deal. If you consistently become an 8-4 program, right? Are you going to have a year where you go 6-6 because a couple breaks didn't go your way because your quarterback got hurt? Yeah, sure, of course. But if you go 8-4 consistently, are you going to have that year where you go 10-2, 11-1, because maybe you catch Auburn when their quarterback got hurt, or you catch LSU on a night when they're just banged up and they're just not dialed in for whatever reason? Yeah, and then on those are that is your path.
Preach, brother, preach. That's what I say. And keep it up, because you know what? You got it. You tell it exactly like it is, and these people need to wake up and listen. And especially people need to get out of Mississippi.
Appreciate the call. You got us all up. Yeah,
Aldred
absolutely.
said I would keep Luke. Here's the reality. I would have never hired Luke. It's the one thing I'll say about Ross Bjork, and it's easy for me to say it, and I like Ross a lot. He's a friend. He's a friend of yours too. Mm-hmm. Had Jeffrey Vitter done to me what he did to Ross Bjork in November of 2017, I would have resigned.
The Andy thing. Oh, Matt. Oh, sorry, Matt. Yeah.
I would have resigned.
Well, all the bitter raw stuff runs in together. So
I would have said no.
Yeah.
If you're not going to let me make the hire, I'm going to quit.
Some of this buyout stuff, though, I mean, it's on Ross.
Of course it is.
He gave these contracts out.
Of course it is.
Didn't have to pay Matt whatever. Didn't have to pay
Of course
whoever
not.
whatever. You could have done some other things, or forget even salary. You could have worked other buyouts in. There's no law that says you have to do fully guaranteed or percentage buyouts.
No. Jimmy Sexton did his job really well that night.
Yeah. Give me 1 second to log you in. I've seen this number pop up. How many times have you called tonight? I really appreciate it.
I don't know, 200 and something.
No, I mean, seriously, I think you're probably right in saying that. So who am I talking to? Where you at?
Joe in Tupelo.
Okay, what's up, Joe?
Just waiting to talk.
Well, you're here now. Start talking.
What'd you think?
Well, we got to start with a really deep philosophical question. So
I like those.
So, do you use an ice ball in the bourbon?
Yeah, I like the ice sphere or the big cube. Sure.
Yeah. So, what are you guys drinking tonight?
I have switched.
He's guzzling wine at
to
this point.
Simple Life Pinot Noir. It's a California 2017.
Pinot Noir. Wah. Wah.
Well, it's not Pinot Noir.
Wow.
It's Pinot Noir. It's how it's pronounced.
Okay.
Well, I get it. Yeah, it's about drink 5 of bourbon for me tonight. David Nicholson at the moment.
I've never had that. Is it good?
It's kind of spicy, and it's a rye bourbon, so it's pretty spicy,
Okay.
but it's in the 30 to 40 range, so it's good.
What's the proof on that?
That's a good question. I'm thinking it's around 95 to 100,
Okay.
something like
Okay.
that. Not too bad.
Okay.
So what's on your mind football-wise?
Well, where do you start? So one thing I saw on the boards yesterday that I'm not sure and I think you guys have talked a little bit about this tonight, but so Chase was around 15 million for the buyouts. Neal was around 8 or 9. So I'm not exactly sure where it would be if everybody got bought out, but it's prohibitive, I would think.
So if everybody got bought out, assuming that nobody
clauses.
got another job ever, which is of course not going to happen, right?
So you're looking at a max number when you immediately make the change.
16.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
And then it's going to get mitigated down to 10-ish.
Yeah. So just based on a really good friend who's highly involved with the university right now at the financial level in all of this.
Glenn Boyce?
So, no, not that one.
Okay.
So the break even to keep everything rolling along, all the athletic programs at least surviving, from what I was told, and this may not be exactly right, but it's close. It's somewhere around 32 to 33,000 season tickets sold. So the real belief is by most, well, the question is, it's not a belief, it's a question. How much lower can season ticket sales go from where they were this year? Because there's two schools of thought there that they really aren't going to get much lower because there's a lot of loyal fans that are going to buy in no matter what. And then there's a question of how much further do they really go? And I'm curious of your thoughts on that.
I don't necessarily think it's loyalty. I think so many people just don't want to lose their place in line or lose their seats.
Yeah.
For when it turns around. It's not even loyalty to the school or the staff. It's just they don't want to start over. My opinion.
Yeah.
I think you got tons of people that go, hey, if I get out, I can't get my 4 seats on the aisle right here that I like or wherever it is I like to sit.
And I don't mean this as an insult. I'd say this about Louisiana, about Alabama, about a lot of places. I mean, if you've been going to, you live in Mississippi, for example, and you've been going to Ole Miss games or Mississippi State games for that matter for all these years, it's one thing to say you're going to give it up. It's another thing to, what else are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, what else are you going to do is increasing every year when the product keeps going down.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Look, tickets are down. Attendance is down. Attendance is way down. And attendance on Saturday against New Mexico State is going to be alarmingly down. And then, look, if LSU doesn't beat Alabama on Saturday and their fans are kind of suffering through a bit of a withdrawal, a hangover after the Alabama game, I don't know how many of them come up here, and I don't know what the attendance is for that game.
Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier because traditionally, just based on seasons past, LSU travels really well to Oxford, and especially in a year like this, you would think they would, but
they're going to be one of
if
two
things
things.
Don't go well on Saturday. I don't know how much it matters.
Sky high or in morning.
Ole Miss cannot be that great of a road trip at the moment.
No, they're either going to be number one in the country coming off of a massive win in Tuscaloosa, where they're really playing for something big, or they're going to be in mourning after losing in Tuscaloosa.
No, I mean, Ole Miss is a great road trip right now. People come in, they have a good time, they go to the Grove, they go eat some nice food, and then they probably have a good shot of winning the football game. It's a great road trip for people. No, serious. I mean, I'm really not trying to be a jackass. I'm being serious.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how this thing ends, honestly. I mean, I'm as frustrated as anybody, and the play selection tonight was just, I don't know. But here's the question. I mean, we know that Plumlee doesn't make a lot of throws, but at the end of the game, he makes several throws when Auburn knows that he's going to throw. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And he hits a few of them. So, I mean, at some point you have to ask yourself, why are we not taking some chances earlier? Because the whole 75% on first down thing of running is just off the chains.
I agree. No, I think you got to open it up and live with what it is. Take the good with the bad.
Well, you're living or dying with Plumlee, that's for sure at this point. I mean,
yeah, the choice has been made.
I would hate to be Matt today.
Yeah, he's the quarterback. Appreciate the call.
We're watching Boise State and San Jose State. Would Brian Harsin do anything for you? Would he move the needle?
Ask the board. I mean, ask the chat.
So that's the question for the chat. Would Brian Harsin do anything for you?
Give me 1 second to put you in. Who am I talking to?
Jake Perkins from Brandon, Mississippi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
What's up?
I'm good.
Well, I was just calling in about, like, the coaching situation. Is like, who wants the job? What is this job attracted to?
Oh, come on. Look.
An SEC job that pays millions of dollars?
Come on.
Yeah, somebody will want it.
Yeah. You guys, listen, I'm going to do a little therapy here, okay? Tell me your name again.
Jake.
All right, Jake. Here's therapy. I'm gonna pump you up a little bit. You're an SEC job. It's the premier job in the country. Every game's on national television. You compete against the cream of the cream. Absolutely, your job's attractive. You pay a ton of money. When you're going good, your atmosphere is all you got to show a potential coach is 2014 Alabama with Katy Perry and Funkies and all that stuff. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Is your job attractive? Hell yes. Your job is very attractive. Now, are the other 6 jobs in your division attractive? Alabama's the best job in the country. LSU's a top 5.
But is it available?
Hold on. LSU's a top 5 job. Auburn's a top 15-ish job. Mississippi State's a top 30 job. Arkansas's a top 30 job. Your job's a top 25 job. Yes, it's A&M's a top 15 job. Hell yeah, it's a hell of a job. Can you get good coaching? Yes, you can absolutely get good coaching. Don't think that you can't go into the bar and get the pretty girl. You absolutely can. Now, you got to work a little harder, and your lines have to be a little sharper, and you need to be dressed a little better, and you need to be a little fitter. But yes, you can absolutely go get the best looking girl at the bar.
Definitely, I see that. But I've only been listening to the podcast for a little bit, and just based off how it seems, who's gonna come in and get the job? Are you like a small coach out of like maybe the SMU head coach, such as Eyeballing? I know they just lost tonight, but they're a pretty good football team.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the coach is pretty good too.
Don't get somebody who can assemble a staff. You've got to get somebody who can energize a network. You've got come on, that's how this thing's done. You got to go out and be look. There's any number of candidates, whether it's an existing head coach, whether it's we talked about Mike Norvell earlier. We talked about Brian Harsin just then. We've talked about Pete Golding in the past. There's no one certain path. There's no one specific recipe that you have to follow. There's a lot of different ways to get to the end result.
Definitely. Well, thanks for the call.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Go right back to the line. Give me 1 second, caller.
You like my 12:15 a.m. therapy?
I mean, you got perked up a little bit when the guy came in with some energy there for a second.
Yeah.
Just saying. Who are we talking to?
Hey, this is John from Olive Branch.
Hey,
what's up, John?
Hey, man. So this is literally going to be the first weekend that me and my friends were getting together to go to Oxford to go to a freaking basketball game and not the football game.
I've told Chase for a while that one of the things I'm most curious about is to see the percentage of full that the pavilion is compared to the percentage of full that the stadium is this weekend.
I mean, I'll be surprised if 10,000 fans are even in the football stadium this weekend.
Ooh.
I think that's.
I mean,
that's
at
low.
what point is mediocrity? When do you just give up? I mean,
I got to be honest. Let's say his number's right. 10,000. Just play along for a minute. It's 12:16 a.m. You've got a moment.
I do.
If it's 10,000, even an intellectual mind like Glenn Boyce has to notice that.
yeah. I mean, I'm a transplant. My hometown state, the flagship university there, fired a guy who was there for 10 years, who averaged 10 wins a game, and we're just mediocre, maybe win 5. Something's got to give.
A number that low, and I think it's too low, but a number that low would be Matt's Northwestern State from 07.
If you told
that
me,
was coupled with the snakes in the head game, but still.
If you told me that the number was between 10 and 15,000 people, and they turned around, and I know what I'm saying, believe me, everybody can yell at me. Y'all know where I stand on this. If you told me that happened, and then they went to Mississippi State and lost on Thanksgiving night, I might change my tune.
Okay. I get it. Do we think the basketball stadium's arena's gonna be full on Friday night? Not full, but very, very.
What's the pavilion hold? 95?
Yeah, something like that.
I bet there's going to be 85.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it.
Yeah, people are excited about basketball.
Give me 1 second, caller, to put you in.
I'm excited.
Turn your computer down, please.
Oh, he's way behind.
Hello?
Who we got?
Who we have?
What's up? I'm Cito from Jackson.
What's up, Cito?
Nothing much. I just want to talk to you all about what are we doing running Jerry and Ely right down the gut against, I think, the best defense in the SEC.
You don't like Jerry and Ely head up on Derek Brown as a good matchup for Ole Miss?
Well, first off, Jerry and Ely we used to go to my school. Great guy. Just we need to use him on the outside more.
I agree with that. Absolutely.
Running him on the inside against Derek Brown, he didn't get anything. I mean, he got a few yards, but running him on the outside was Snoop Connor, better power back.
Yeah.
He is.
What you been doing tonight? Just mad?
Watching the game and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stewing on it a little bit? Are you sad or pissed off? Where are you falling on the spectrum?
No, I don't really care anymore.
How old are you, Cito?
I'm 14.
Oh.
14, okay.
And you go to prep?
Yep.
Did you see Glenn Boyce this week?
No, he was actually in the high school.
Okay.
I was in junior high.
Okay. I'm really impressed with you. I'm actually kind of proud. 1220 hanging out with us at this point on the show.
How much do you hate Jackson Academy? Do you just hate them?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I hate MRA more though.
Yeah, I do too. I hate MRA. It just boils my blood.
MRA's got a shot this year, right?
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
All right. Hey, get you some rest tonight. You got a big school day Monday.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, bud. That might be our youngest caller we've had so far.
I think so.
Do you? Give me 1 second, caller. Who's in? Hey Tim, how are you?
Tim, what's up?
Great. How are you guys?
Good. What's
so
on?
I listen to you guys every day, and one of the things that Neil mentioned a couple months ago was apathy. I think that's kind of what set in with the fan base, and I've kind of turned the page and looking towards basketball season now.
I think there is a large portion of the fan base is doing that. Waiting around to see what the end result of the football season is, but once basketball gets going, if they really start off kind of hot, I think there is a complete page turn.
For sure. It's one of those deals. I think Neil hit on it, earlier. The fact that Corral was not in late in the fourth quarter is just inexplicable. And to watch Luke on the sideline, it's almost comical.
Yeah, he got super worked up about a call that was obvious to the naked eye. I mean, it was pretty obvious that Alex Givens had tackled the guy. I mean, it was an easy call to make, and that was the call that he got super worked up about. And it was just sometimes I feel like we're picking on him, but then sometimes I think it's the way it looks. And
it's a public messaging. I mean, it's not really picking as much as you kind of look at it, and it's something that it's the one thing the fans see. They see on the sidelines, and there are several different things from a mannerism standpoint that bother people. I mean, I think that's fair.
Like you guys always talk about the optics. The optics. I came home for the Arkansas game. I guess that was the second game of the year, and bought tickets at the gate and sat on the 50. So if that is an optics, I don't know what is,
No, I get it. I mean, completely.
So I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Love listening to you. Thanks again.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I don't think it's picking. I mean, like I said, it's what fans see. I mean, that is what it is. I mean, it's things that there are 3 or 4 things that we continually hear from fans that bother them about things on the sidelines. Let's phrase it like that. Let's not even go straight with Matt, but just things on the sideline. Period. Caller, give me 1 second to get you in. I mean, you agree with that, Neil?
Oh, absolutely. I think for whatever reason, I've told people all along, I think they need to work on messaging over there and the way things appear. But after this amount of time, it kind of is what it is.
Who are we talking to, caller?
What's up, guys? It's Ole Miss Banker.
Oh, hey, any shootings or anything this week?
There's been a 3-week ceasefire over here.
Oh, good. So what ended up happening? Did they catch the dude or what? Give us the final update.
I think they did. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure. I kind of made a point to avoid that side of the building from that night on. I think they did, though. Been a lot of stuff happening over there, but
just on that side of the building, no, not the other side of the building. All good.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, safe to go outside of the room again. Listen, just as a public service announcement, if you go to ESPN.com and you look at Ole Miss's schedule, there's a little link out to the right-hand side where you can go buy tickets. And for next week's game, you can officially get a ticket starting at $2. So to everyone listening, as the week progresses, I know it's going to be hard, but if you make that sacrifice to bypass that $2 soda, you could see Ole Miss play New Mexico State in person. So do the right thing and stick with the soda, I guess. Listen, if it's all right, real quick, I posted this on the board not too long ago, but it kind of got buried in a sea of discontent, which I understand. But I went back to the postseason press conference that Matt Luke had, and I think that was late November, like November 27th, 2018.
The one where he got pretty fiery at the very beginning and had the big intro.
Yeah. So that's the one. He had the monologue, and people's reaction to that was kind of on the side of, well, okay, let's give him another year. He's passionate about this. He's going to get things turned around. And I'm putting this in the context of that was a 5-7 season. We're staring right down the barrel of a 4-8 season because there's no way Ole Miss is going to beat LSU, and I can't imagine Ole Miss is going to be favored when they go into Starkville. So you got New Mexico State, and that's it. So in all likelihood, you're looking at a regression from 2018 to 2019. And I just pulled some of these quotes here just to get y'all's reaction to it. I know exactly what it takes to get us out of this. I know what it takes to turn the program around. We will win here. I know what a good red zone offense looks like. I'm going to fix it. We've done it before. We can do it again. So it kind of seems like, we're on the fence with this, but is it too early to hold Matt Luke accountable for those quotes?
No, he's the head coach. You can hold him accountable for anything. This is big boy SEC football. They make multi-millions a year. You can hold them accountable for anything you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, part of the context of that postseason press conference was we're shedding all these shackles that are holding us back in this season. So he made the point to mention I can finally go into a living room again and I can sell Ole Miss for what it is. I don't have to talk about NCAA bans or bowl bans or sanctions, whatever the case may be. We're getting rid of these coordinators. We're bringing on 2 former Coach of the Year guys to come in and do our coordinating. And it's just a really, really tough sell. When you've got all of that going for you, you would at least expect to tread water at that point. And looking at the likelihood that we're going to be looking at a 4-8 season, no, I don't think the Bills do, man. And, I kind of like the way it's been put before. You either dip your toe in the water and you see that a change is needed. When you do that, you make the call and you move forward with it and you're decisive no matter how difficult it's going to be. Well, you got to rearrange pieces. You got to get someone in there to make a decision. You got to do what you got to do to put this thing on the right track.
I get it. I mean, I know you can hold him accountable on anything. I remember that press conference well. I remember a lot of those quotes. I mean, I think the quarterback situation has thrown everything into a bit of a whatever, but again, that's still on quarterback development and having, at the time, Corral ready to play and getting some things accomplished, and they just haven't done that. So
I do think it's interesting that tonight, and I haven't watched it yet. I haven't had a chance. Matt Luke's press conference was only 3 minutes and 25 seconds.
Yeah. After a Monday press conference that was short.
People are running out of things to even ask.
I think that's probably, yeah. So, see if this person calls back one more time, and then we'll go from there. I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like we've had the same topics over and over again tonight, but it's the same main thing. I mean, it's seeing where it goes. Let's see. It hung up. I don't know. People might be too drunk to even get the call all the way through and stay on the line with us at this point. It's 12:29. Getting a few Eastern time zone
it's
people
late.
too. Give me 1 second caller to
San Jose State beating Boise State 34-31. Brian Harsin in danger.
Who are we talking to?
Jackson from Jonesboro.
Hey, Jackson, how are you?
Jonesboro, Arkansas?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess. Oh, go ahead.
A big Red Wolf fan?
I mean, it might be better than this.
What's on your mind?
I just kind of want to get, I guess, Neil more on where Ole Miss is at now, because I think it's kind of in a dangerous place. I think we're in a stagnant place, and is there anyone who can kind of do something, or anyone who has enough, power or enough money to kind of get the ball moving, to take action and, start pushing us forward in the right direction?
In what regard?
In terms of the school, attendance dropping, not just football, but in terms of where the school's kind of going, because is there someone that can do it, or is it just we're just kind of left with our pants down and no one here to help us?
I don't think it's someone. I think it's like anything, right? It's like it's a stupid analogy, but the first step when you're really fat and you decide you don't want to be fat anymore is to admit that you're fat.
Right.
The first step is to quit blaming everything else. Quit going, oh, well, it's because you eat too much and you don't exercise enough. And then that's step one. And then step two is you start exercising and you stop eating as much and you start eating better. And I mean, look, I've said this before. It's kind of funny coming from me because I get all the emails weekly about why do you hate Ole Miss? And I don't at all. Ole Miss is an awesome place. It's a beautiful campus. It's the prettiest campus. I've been to hundreds of campuses. It's the prettiest campus I've ever seen. It's there's a lot of wonderful people. It has a lot going for it. But it's like any place else. You've got to put your best foot forward. And I don't think the last several years Ole Miss has done a very good job of putting its best foot forward. And some of the schools around them have, and they've gotten beaten badly in in-state recruiting. There's no other way to put it, because another Mississippi State, frankly, has just done a better job of recruiting in-state kids. Period. So whoever, whether it's Glenn Boyce, whether it's whoever replaces Glenn Boyce when Ole Miss finally admits that this didn't work, whoever it is, they've got to come in and maybe it's Boyce. You got to come in. You got to change the mentality. You can't do what Glenn Boyce has done in the first couple of weeks, which is only go to a bunch of private schools. That won't work.
Right.
That won't work. You've got to get a little different than that. You've got to get into some uncomfortable territory. I mean, back to my weight loss analogy. Those first handful of workouts when you're fat are no fun. You know what I mean? Yeah, I have too. I mean, my first few days of P90X, I've told Chase this. We've talked about this. I mean, what's the guy's name? I've had a few drinks now.
Tony Horton, yeah.
When Tony Horton said, hey, hit pause, but come back and hit play, I had to hit pause and go throw up. And then I had to hit play and come back and finish the damn workout. And it wasn't pretty, and it wasn't fun, and it didn't feel good, but I did it. And then I came back the next day and I hit play. And Ole Miss is sort of right there right now.
Right. So that was my next kind of question was, how long do you think it's going to be before we realize how fat we are and we decide we need to make a change?
I think the school as a whole knows it. I think it's about the decision makers deciding it. And I think at some point, the public voice gets heard. I always do. Look, Ole Miss is going to be fine. It is. It's a great place. It's a beautiful school. It's wonderful people, all that stuff. It's going to be fine. It's a matter of enough people have to stand up and say, hey, look, this isn't who we are. And I think that's already happening, frankly. Right now what you have is you're caught up in the middle of this political battle that is kind of bizarre, but I think it'll pass. Don't you, Chase?
Well, they've been fighting the same battle for years, though. You know what I mean? I mean, it's one of those deals where, it passes in a way, but then it doesn't. I mean, it never fully gets out of its own way.
It doesn't.
The names just change a little bit. The battle might change, but it's never completely shed the fat. I mean, the closest is during that freeze era, right there toward the Sugar Bowl and stuff. But like I said, even that wasn't fully efficient.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you about this AD thing. I mean, that's the next big hire. I still think, based on what I've heard this week, that Keith Carter is going to be the AD. That's what I believe. I think he's going to get the job. And they're going to have to address why did you go through the song and dance of doing a committee and all that stuff if you were just going to hire the guy that you already hired? At some point, someone's got to cut to the chase in all the messaging. A lot of it is just messaging.
Right. So do you think it's more they want to do right, but they're also worried about the choices that such a committee would, like kind of come up with, and they think they know better, or you think it's just
I don't know why they're doing what they're doing. It's like I don't understand. I mean, look, we've talked to people that were involved in the chancellor search. I don't understand why they did what they did in the chancellor search. It made no sense. At some point, though,
I agree with you there.
I'm a believer in transparency, and they need to be transparent. I mean, it would be so easy for someone right now to say, "Hey, we don't need a search." Whether you agree with it or not is immaterial.
The Abilene effect is what's going on.
It would be so easy for someone to just say, "Hey, we think Keith's the right guy for the job."
Yeah.
And people might disagree with it. They might agree with it. I don't know. It'd be so easy for them to say, "That's what we believe," and then stick to it. The problem when you do that at this point is if you do that with Keith Carter today, the pressure the day one on Keith Carter is, okay, what are you doing about football? Because he doesn't have the ability to say, well, hey, I haven't been there. I don't know the dynamics. I haven't sat down with the money people.
There's no honeymoon period.
There's not 1 minute of honeymoon period.
Yeah.
And when you do this deal with the committee, it makes it a farce. Because whether fair or not, and it's probably actually not particularly fair, the problem is when you say, hey, we're going to have a committee, the committee says, not the committee says, but the people say, so you had a committee and you conducted a national search and you hired a person that was already on your staff. Again. No one buys it.
It's a decision that's been made on multiple fronts. Not one person, a lot of people. That it's time to, as Neil using his analogy, to shed the fat. And as of right now,
if you just leave it up to a lot of people, there's still someone in that group of people has to step forward and say, we need to stop joking with ourselves, do what we need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate the call. Thank you. No, it's look, there is no standing still. I mean, not to use a bunch of cliches and different things, but the rest of the SEC West is pretty dang efficient right now, or at least some of it.
Most of it.
Yeah. Arkansas is not. State's not.
No.
4 of them are. Because A&M is, even though they're not winning. They're paying Jimbo. They're doing the right things.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work there for whatever reason. You can figure out why that is, why that isn't, all that kind of stuff. It's up to you. Hold on one second, caller, to bring you in. Yeah, I mean, so my point being, you fall behind every day that you aren't maximizing everything you can do to make that happen. So who are we talking to?
You're talking to Wesson. That's Wesson, like the handgun or the cooking oil. And I'm in Vicksburg, Mississippi currently.
How are you? 12:38 a.m.
Well, I'm in a good place, all things considered.
That's
yeah,
good.
You don't seem as despondent as a lot of our callers.
You seem
tonight.
much happier.
Okay, I want to say I was a sophomore in college, and I sat through Houston Nuts last season, and I wore a bag to my head to every game. So I kind of enjoyed the misery.
You were the Bear?
Because misery deserves company. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Okay. So what are you thinking now? What's up?
Well, I mean, this is, it's 12:30 at night, Central Time Zone. It's going to get kind of dark, and I had a family member pass away from an overdose last year.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Because the way he lived his life, the writing was on the wall. It's kind of like Matt Luke. The writing is on the wall. Even the ones that want to support him deep down, it's not going to work. Am I wrong?
it's a very hard analogy to to play off of.
Look, he's.
I mean,
the
deep down, he's probably not getting. Next year, there's going to be a coaching search underway. I mean, it's inevitable. I guess you can't say yes and agree with me because you'll piss people off.
No. That's not it. I mean, look. We've talked about this. Their first 7 games next season include Baylor at a neutral site, Alabama, LSU, Auburn, and Florida. So 5 teams that right now are ranked somewhere between 1 and 18.
Yeah.
I think Baylor loses 2 starters off this season's team. I think Baylor's still undefeated after their sloppy game the other night against West Virginia. So if they go by chalk and they go 2-5, meaning they beat Southeast Missouri State and they beat Vanderbilt in Nashville, yeah, he's firing himself. If they win one of those games, that's 3-4. If they win 2 of those games, we're not talking about this anymore. If they lose, more than that, and they go to Nashville and lose, for example, then I mean it's not survivable. So yeah, I mean we're at the point where no matter what anybody thinks, no matter what anybody's agenda may or may not be, we're approaching the point in the game where it's bill paying time, one way or the other.
Well, the thing is too, it's like if we had just been able to close fairly strong in recruiting last year. I understand the circumstances with like the kid from not seminary, maybe it's seminary, Jaron Handy, and of course Nakobe Dean. But I feel like if he would have closed in recruiting, we probably, even with the loss tonight, it would be like, well, they're young and we got everybody in Mississippi we wanted to. Where I don't think he's not going to sign McKinley Jackson. I've talked to someone on that would know. And I don't think he's going to get Pegues either. Maybe things happen wrong, but it's probably not happening. I don't think he's going to get Forbes because Forbes probably won't qualify. It's Forbes grades are pretty 50-50 right now. I just don't. It's Mississippi. I mean, it's so backwards and 10 years behind. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't know about Jackson.
I mean, maybe y'all hear something different about that.
I do hear something different on Jackson, but I mean, I can't.
We'll see when the time comes.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever.
Exactly. It's the same thing with Nakobe Dean. We'll see. And then, of course, it doesn't happen because he can't, he can't close. God bless him. He can't tug his way out of a massage parlor. But.
Good line to close it on. Appreciate the call. Yeah. So JG's still going too, apparently. Seeing that on our live stream. He got started later though. Like a good bit later, I think. By himself, pretty tough though. You're just talking and talking.
He just talks. I know.
Talking and talking. Something like
it's
that.
a much different deal there. They're 7-2.
We haven't done this after a win yet. I mean, we're playing therapist every week right now.
I don't know that I'm qualified to be this much of a therapist.
You don't think so?
Is Jay drunk?
Apparently somebody says Jay is drunk. So we have that going for him. So we just hit the 3-hour mark right now. Probably a good time to start wrapping it toward up. It is 12:43 a.m. I guess it's only 11:43 when you consider the time change. But my child
slurring.
Jay
slurring.
God.
What's wrong with your child?
Well, she's gonna recognize the time change, so she's gonna wake up at whatever time it is in the morning. I mean, it is what it is. So anyway, the 300 of you that have hung on until 12:43, thank you. I appreciate that. A great deal. A lot of calls tonight, and definitely the most calls we've gotten so far trying to get in. I mean, there were 4 or 5 people that called at least 100 times tonight, working to get in. I tried to find those numbers to get you in when I could. It's a little hectic over here at the operator's desk.
Isn't that funny? They say more anger on his show than this one.
I don't know. Whatever. They know they're going 8-4 and they're pissed off about it. It's what it is over there. They're losing to Georgia, they're losing to Alabama, and they're going 8-4.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. So
and 8-4, they are at
they're in a weird spot.
Look, I'm not going to go down this road too much because it's 12:44. If Auburn at 8-4 is seriously contemplating dumping $20 million to get it right, if you're at Ole Miss, you have to pay attention to that. Because you might be going 4-8.
and worried about doing it for half that.
And worried about, I don't know. And the whole who can you get?
Someone. It's not who can you get, it's can you operate it effectively to get who you need. Those are two different things.
First thing you have to do, we've talked about this on the podcast. The first thing you have to do is hire an AD. And if that's Keith, hire Keith and have somebody come out as a leader and say, hey, this is our guy. This is our guy. And if it's not Keith, hire whoever it is and get it done and introduce him and say, this is our guy. If you're the chancellor at this point, yeah, you got hired as a sham process, no doubt. But you're going to have to go public and face the music and get past it. And if you can't do that, then resign.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to Madison, to the home that you told everybody you were going to build because you weren't interested in the job, and enjoy it. No one's stopping you. Hell, you made $100,000 off the search one way or the other. One or the other. It's that time. Do it.
Boise up 38-34 as we're closing here. 6 minutes to go in this one.
Idaho's 2 hours behind us.
Is it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never been.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it, everybody. We're back next week.
Oh, there goes somebody.
Oh, yeah. Boise scoring again.
Boise.
So we're back next week. New Mexico State. We'll probably hit the button pretty quick when that one is over. Or maybe still go. We might even just do the end of the Alabama-LSU game with you as well. Who knows? But either way, we will have plenty from that. We'll talk attendance. We'll talk coaching. I'm sure we'll probably talk quarterbacks even. So all that. Another Oxford Exxon podcast on Monday. Remember our live show on Thursday at Southern Craft. Kermit Davis at least will be there. Maybe somebody else as well. I need to get confirmation on that tomorrow. So thanks for hanging in, and we will talk to you on Monday.